stuff.
Exactly. If you don't know me, you can't judge me.
I mean, I
Alright.
can, but it's not necessarily the right thing to do.
Pretty sure it's streaming now.
Yes! I'm sorry about
Alright.
that. Please
Yeah, we are.
continue.
There we go. Alright. Wait, no. Back up.
Supposed to be.
Fantastic. A video
Yeah.
is supposed to be playing, but no.
Here comes the stream. Do 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 do.
I think this works. Will it? Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I like my wolf there in the corner.
Oh hey, you're live now.
Alright, there we go. Whew. There's just gonna be a bit of 10 minutes so people can come in.
So, should you link the description of the YouTube video, like, in the general chat, or?
Oh my god, I'm on my wrong account and I almost posted a message on the stream. Everyone would have been like, what the hell are you doing here?
Sir Richard Owen, Miley's welcome. We're gonna start when the timer ends here.
Start what?
The actual stream.
What stream? I was just dragged into it with a gun to my head.
Relax. Sack of Soul, welcome. Liam?
Liam D! It's the Liam D!
Unable to connect to chat. Please try again later.
Barry King.
I see there's 9, but
Natai.
only 6 have replied. Speak.
Yep, there's Velociforce down there as well.
Yeah.
Squib. Yes, Squib. The ultimate Squib.
Don't even know who that is.
Oh dear.
I am the incognito burrito.
Perfect.
Oh god, I should
So,
probably stop
Ian,
that.
how would you feel about doing some editing for us later on? We can talk about it later, but
Char, welcome. What do you mean?
What do you mean, other voice?
I think nobody expected me to not be alone.
we're all just voices. in
Corporal
his head.
Corporal Porpoise.
We're all here. Sadly, you have to suffer us along with Skinova. So.
Where's
Oh my
Madeira, by
god,
the
this
way?
mic does sound better.
I feel like there's just gonna be an echo forever.
I turned off the echo.
It's okay.
I'm
I
really
was just
hoping.
seeing how I sounded. I sound better with this phone. It's great.
I'm really hoping this stream goes well. Knowing me, there's gonna be a lot of bumps in the road, but whatever.
I don't remember what we were doing, to be honest.
Well, there's gonna be a whole introduction and everything.
We're talking about the ecologicalness of something, right? I can't
Yeah,
even speak.
Skull Island
Speak
from the
English. I got to
2005
look
film.
that up. I am unprepared.
So who wants
Please
to
kill
talk
me.
about Rogue One?
I can.
Terrible movie.
I haven't seen
Move
it, so
on.
please don't.
It was
Terrible
amazing.
movie.
It was
Move
amazing.
on.
Was it? I heard
Yep.
I heard a lot of people died or something.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Jesus Christ, that's a long name. Welcome. I'm not even gonna bother
Helios
trying to.
played Giganotosaur
Hilos,
La
the
Communi-
Giganotosaur, la Community.
So, Vixel, Rogue One, it was amazing.
I think I pronounced that
I
wrong.
honestly am not a
I'm
Star
going to
Wars
die.
fan, so I don't really care.
Last 5 minutes made the movie.
True,
Well, if I have
Liam.
to sit through an hour and a half just to watch the last 5 minutes, that's kind of not worth my time.
Kong, Skull Island. Let's have a look at how badly this is. Kong Skull Island is
Whoever said it was terrible, I want you to be my son.
Really? There's a movie about Kong Skull Island coming out?
Yeah, there's a second King Kong film coming out soon. It has nothing to do with the one we're talking about, but
Great, I wonder how quickly another Rex is gonna suffer a snapped jaw.
no, this one isn't gonna have dinosaurs.
Oh, well, I'm gonna kill myself now.
There's gonna be giant mutant things, but no T-Rexes or anything.
And there's
I
gonna
still
be
hate the original film for
there's
that.
gonna be Godzilla versus Kong.
True. I think that's the only reason that this new film exists. Just so that can happen later on.
I'm going to put my money on Godzilla.
Yeah.
Okay,
King-
so it's
King-
Godzilla versus Kong. You
If
have
Kong
a giant
wins, I'm going to
reptilian.
literally kill myself.
You have a giant reptilian thing that breathes lasers versus
Versus some
versus
weak ape.
Harambe versus a very large Harambe. What do
In
you
that case,
think?
I go for Harambe.
It's like a raptor versus a human.
It's not gonna. If the human doesn't have a gun, no, it's a
It's a raptor versus
Versus-
an unarmed human.
it's a human with a gun versus like a slightly larger compy. That's what it is.
Alright.
Yeah, I was talking
I'll go
about the raptor winning when I said that.
In my honest opinion, King Kong technically won the last time they fought, so it's only fair this time around for Godzilla too.
Godzilla
we
will win,
have to be
otherwise this
fair.
movie will be bad.
Yeah, Godzilla's gonna curb stomp him.
Ah, my nose. Wait, did Kong extinct T-Rexes?
No.
Okay, I was about to run down to Hollywood and kill everyone.
A lot of things will be explained in the stream in terms of how things go.
So Velocity, you could consider Godzilla's victory payback for all the T-Rexes Kong killed.
Oh, yeah, that is definitely going to be K-Back.
K-Deck.
I did like the film, just not that part. I know it's T-Rex's most generic thing, fanboys, blah blah blah, but still, come on, a fucking snap jaw. Really? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
I thought I was alone then. I thought everyone left me. Everything just went so silent. I was about to get my bottle of whiskey and cry in my corner.
Alright, 3 minutes before we start.
3 minutes. How many people are watching? 11.
It says 12, but it has lied to me in the past.
Oh, now it says 12.
True, Barry King. It technically wasn't a T-Rex, but
It
a
was
more evolved version.
a
I
Vastanosaurus.
don't care. It's still a dinosaur, and it has feelings. Okay.
I'm not gonna get into. Well, if it's about the movie that everybody saw, then that's fine. But I'm not gonna talk about the book itself until we actually like get into it and stuff. So
Yeah, I can't seem to find the stream.
really, do the rest of, do you two have it?
Yeah,
I got it.
I think
Yeah, then you can
Godzilla-
link it in Discord, I suppose.
I think Godzilla would win, Liam.
I'm stuck at the what's display on stream. I'm stuck on that. I physically can't do anything else, or else the whole stream's gonna look weird.
Please wait. The podcast will begin shortly. 3 likes. Wait. 3 likes. Alright, V-Rex shouldn't have died. I want to vote in the comments. Who do you think really should have won? Wait, who do you think should win? Godzilla or the giant ape?
Like the Flame War.
Comment now. Who do you think should win in the movie? Godzilla or the gigantic ape?
Oh, never mind, I found it.
There we go.
Okay, no one. Oh wait, Liam did vote.
Technically speaking, I'm indifferent as well, but only
does that
fair.
mean?
Once again, indifferent is just
What?
a fancy smancy word for I don't care.
Okay.
Senior Komodo on crack.
Is that my fire alarm? No. Okay. I was about to say I'm gonna burn. Yeah, there's a vote from Barry, obviously, to Godzilla. No one votes ape.
Corporal Porpoise does.
Really?
Yeah, Corporal Porpoise, he voted Kong.
I don't want Kong to win. I want Kong to be ripped apart for what he did to those Rexes.
Alright, 20 seconds.
34 seconds for me.
Alright, 15 seconds behind. Now I know. Perfect.
25 seconds.
26 for me.
10,
It says 24
Nine.
now for me.
20
Eight.
seconds.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
11-second delay.
Really?
Welcome
There we go.
to our stream.
Alright, everybody, welcome to 33 Podcast. I am obviously Scanova, your host, obviously. And with me, I got
Gonna
three.
have to say obviously twice.
I'm sorry, I'm a very awkward person. I got 3 people with me. Philosophers.
4.
3. I'm not counting myself here.
Yeah.
I got 3 people with me. Velociforce, a YouTuber I've worked with in the past.
And just giving me free promotion.
Hey.
I don't care, you deserve it. Gojira. Gojira, somebody who is very interested in this stuff and is a member of the Isla Sorna group like me.
What's up?
And finally, there is Vixel, somebody who
Oh
has
my
joined
God,
in the
I
last
love
minute,
Ivy.
and she is the head of the Isla Sorna server.
I just pay for things, don't ask me
Actually,
hard
it's a
questions.
Utah raptor.
Alright,
The raptors in the TV series were Utah raptors.
the primeval ones, I'm pretty sure they seem like Deinonychus to me, but that's a whole
They
other
were
They
good.
debate.
are Utah raptors, they're just less feathers. It even says it everywhere in the film episodes.
Nah,
Alright.
I swear they're Deinonychus.
That could be, but in my books they're Utah raptors.
Well, here's
Don't
the,
take it away from me.
here's the 2 things that make me think of Deinonychus. First off, Utah raptors are massive. They're like 6 feet tall. Deinonychus is the primeval raptor is not that big. Second, there is a Utah raptor in the primeval series, and it does not look like that at all. So,
Hang on, I'm verifying this. Oh, there's the cute little velociraptor that appeared, and he called it the king of the jungle, and then just this jigger pierce. I remember that.
I love that.
It's
Everybody
funny.
loved that.
That was funny. Oh, right, you are correct. Wait, that's the primeval New World raptor.
It's still part of the trilogy, though.
No,
they-
it's not.
they're in the
New
same
World
universe.
was an abomination.
It's still in canon,
Yeah.
so get over it.
Still an abomination of the entire
Alright.
series.
Continuing. So, this stream, if y'all don't already know, is about the ecology of Skull Island. There's a bit of backstory to this whole thing.
I still can't believe I'm represented by a Utah raptor.
Deinonychus.
Deinonychus, I meant. Sorry.
Do you want me to help you build a bridge so you can get over it?
Damn.
Get right over that?
I'm so slow. I just got it.
Alright, so basically this will be based on a book called The World of Kong, A Natural History of Skull Island. It's pretty interesting how this book came to be. Basically,
Someone got bored and wrote it.
no. How it worked is that the people made this as well workshop, and that's the very design team behind the movie essentially. They were asked by, I'm pretty sure it's Peter Jackson who did this movie, I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
But-
Peter Jackson.
Yeah. So that was basically their job by him to make the island and the stuff on it. Now they could have been just make a bunch of random cool animals on a random island and leave it at that. But with them, that wasn't enough. They decided to make an ecosystem that is actually pretty realistic if you leave some factors out of it, and essentially made a ton of fascinating and amazing animals. Now, obviously, all of them couldn't appear in the movie, otherwise it'd be 10 hours long. So,
And we all know how people bitched over the movie being over 3 hours long.
yeah,
Oh,
true.
yeah.
And so
I-
they eventually managed to get everything they did published into a book, which was made into this. So there we go. Now,
Cool.
there's one little main rule to this whole podcast. I want to at least somewhat remain on topic. We can go adrift a little bit. I don't really care that much, but I don't want us to be on something for a half an hour, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Alright. So, there is a history. There is sort of like a backstory in this book. Basically, there's the movie happened. They went on this island, got pretty much just. The main crew in the movie went on the island, attempted to get murdered by various creatures. They managed to capture Kong, bring him back. He climbed the Empire State Building and died. And that whole stuff. I don't really need to get that deep into it. And
He died on the Empire State Building. That's cool.
But
Well-
he took a few of the planes with him.
True.
Yeah.
And
And a girl.
in a sense, that was sort of the beginning to humanity's ventures to Skull Island as a whole. Kong himself already proved that such an island existed, and such amazing beasts lived there and such. So,
And broke one of their jaw. I'm sorry.
alright. So,
Also, is very butthurt over the T-Rex being killed.
when
Yeah,
word
still-
when word got out of where the island was and that such an island existed, research teams from all over the world wanted to get over there as fast as possible and start to research
kill
it,
more Rexes.
get their published and whatever. And for like a good 5 years, dozens of smaller research teams attempted to go in there, but none of them came back. They got absolutely murdered. But there was one big research team. I forgot what it was called. I'm gonna look it up real quick. But it was basically led by Denim, the same guy who
Denim jacket. I'm sorry.
the
Shut up.
the annoying cameraman from the movie.
By Jack Black.
Yeah, and he led for several months, seven journeys into the island and recording everything they saw. So let me see. There was I really should be a lot more prepared for this. Project Legacy. There we go. It was called Project Legacy, and it was 7 smaller ventures into the island to record all the wildlife there. And to factor into all of this, Skull Island is doomed, essentially.
Yeah.
No.
What
No!
is what is happening?
No!
The island just so happens to be on the verge of a very, very large fault line. And it's one of those fault lines where, you know what, there's only like one main type of fault line where where one goes under and one goes over it. Skull Island just so happens to be on the plate where it's going under. It's practically going to get sunk like Atlantis.
I'm
And
going to cry now. Why is everything not inhabited by humans doomed to die?
when they were doing their research, a couple of people died because part of the island went down while they were researching on it. And by the start of World War II, the island was just completely gone. So this book is there as sort of the last remnants of essentially the island's legacy. So without further ado, let's get into it.
We should make our own ecosystem or Iceland.
That'd be pretty cool.
We should do that someday. That'd be cool.
I
As a
would love to be part
podcast.
of that.
We should do
We
a
should
stream.
do a. Yes, we should do a podcast where we create an Iceland with its own ecosystem.
Let me post my map real quick that I've been working with something that I've been working on for a while.
Oh, we should do a stream of Isla Sorna's ecosystem.
Oh, for God's sake, no.
It's at the moment it's just all
Well,
over
Yeah,
single hour.
in my opinion, it's really something that should really be left on its own due to the fact that, well, it changes constantly. The
movie,
and the fact that everything is
was...
sort of a work in progress.
We should do a podcast versus Sorna's ecosystem versus the pub's ecosystem.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh my god.
I just gotta say though, the ecosystem of either Sorna and Nublar would basically just be all females. So it'd be kind of pointless because they're all gonna die off anyway.
Well, that's not necessarily true because they do switch gender in canon.
To be honest, that is actually an impossible occurrence. The physical
it's
being
not.
cannot change gender.
Hold up! I will be right back. 1 second.
Oh boy.
Okay,
Oh,
so
no, here we go.
let's just continue real quick. The book separates the entire island is 5 or 6. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's 6.
Should show that map she's been working on stream, unless she stole it.
This whole stream's set. I physically can't do anything about
I
it.
physically made that.
Yeah, 6 regions.
And
That's a fish. That's different. Fish are disgusting.
and
frogs.
the first one is the Crumbling coastal village. Now, because Skull Island's on the fault line, right? So it's constantly being ravaged by earthquakes and huge thunderstorms. And as such, actual beaches, even though they exist, are fairly rare around the island's exterior. So there's mostly just full-on cliffs and such other things. Now, the island itself, while most things on it are pretty friggin' weird, the coast in particular is home to many familiar animals, such as gulls. Off the coast, there's very small reefs with fish, and then it's got its own population of fur seals, which I think is pretty cool. Alright, now crustaceans. This is pretty generic here. I just pulled up some generic photos. You're not gonna have a fun time later on. Just saying. There's Osteodomus, a hermit crab. Lividuscus, which is a pretty large herbivorous lobster, which feeds on the cliffs for algae. And then there's this Scutarcarus, which is basically a pancake lobster. It is really, really flat, so whenever it deals with predators, it can just slide between rocks like it's no problem.
What is a Cune Predator?
Cune Predator?
Yeah.
Predator, I don't know. It is a population of small land crabs on the island. It's similar to Christmas Island's red crabs. And
oh god, that is bad. Someone just commented it would use skulls as a shell. Is this true?
yes, actually, Osteodomus in the picture, it looks like it has a small fur seal skull, but I'm not too sure. But it does have a skull on its back.
Damn.
And the main thing that the book emphasizes about them, I'm pretty sure, is their breeding habits. Now,
Oh no.
whenever they mate and lay eggs, the female puts them on their back and on her belly, and covers them with moisture so they don't dry out. And while the population is normally inland, the females go to the coast to find birds' nests. Now, it's not as sinister as it sounds. They go into a gull nest and drop their eggs in there, so when they hatch, they can feed off the scraps of the seagulls, the little baby hatchlings. Not eat the hatchlings themselves, but
So it's
the food
similar
whatever
to,
parents
like,
happen.
So it's similar to like mites and stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
That's a bad habit.
Alright, now we're gonna jump straight into one of the top predators here.
Oh great, is it the V-Rex?
No, V-Rex doesn't come until later. Tartarusaurus savus. It
There's
is...
no picture of it up yet, I can't see it. There we go.
Oh yeah.
One mean looking
Wow.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tartarusaurus savus.
Alright, now I want this one to survive. This one looks pretty sick.
yeah. I'm assuming it comes from a Rauisuchian lineage, the same that Pososuchus and similar animals come from. There's a lot There's a lot of animals which come from this group that live on the island. And they are massive, very big, mean animals. Their favorite prey is the fur seals that live on the island. They follow them around as they travel from beach to beach.
Huh.
And they are extremely territorial to each other, with confrontations between them happening on a regular basis due to the rareness of fur seals on the island. There's only like 1 or 2 general populations. And they fight very similar to Komodo dragons. They rear up on their back legs and ram to each other and claw at each other.
So basically,
That's
it's a
one hell of a way
dragon
to
the
fight.
size of a rhino.
It does look like a
Rhinos.
rhino, though I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of the horns actually are. Maybe for display, but I'm not too sure.
Display and mating purposes, I'd say. That sounds like the most logical option to have a display quest.
Well,
It-
I won't call them horns, I'd call them a quest. Crest, I can't speak.
it's more of a crest because if you look at it, the one off to the side doesn't appear to be
Spiky.
nose. It looks more like on the eye from my perspective.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I-
it's kind
It's
of like
probably a mirror, it's just that they haven't drawn it very well.
it's kind of like a Carnotaurus skull.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Carnotaurus has display horns, and Scanova should know that one very well.
Yes. And one more final factor is if you looked at its tail, it does look a tiny bit out of proportion to the rest of its body. And that's because
Looks like
it functions very similar to a lizard. It offers us like a fat storage during lean months. And
So like a gecko.
yeah,
Or
th-
a
this
Gila
is
monster.
this is often essential for the younger individuals, as often they have a very hard time hunting seals because the bigger individuals won't let them get near their food. So there we go.
Oh damn.
Next up, we got the only dinosaur and the only amphibian on the coast.
Let's have a look.
I'm gonna let you guys switch to it. We got Paracerdon exetialis and Limusaurus comodomusculus. How I pronounce that last one right, I do not know, but I'm proud of myself.
Paracerdon.
So,
However you pronounce it. It looks nicer.
this dinosaur, the book does not exactly show what its lineage is, though if I had to say, it's probably a raptor. Similar to
It's so cute,
Austroraptor.
I want to hug it.
And these guys are pretty cool. When there's a big coast and there's little offshoots of rocks just off the coast where waves hit them constantly, that is where these guys fish. Their very thin legs allow them to not get discouraged by the incomes of massive waves pretty easily. And they also got strong claws to hold on properly. And that's their fishing area. They fish off the coast.
I made a cringy reference.
And then there's Limusaurus, which looks like a really flabby
but-
alien. And
Is that its face or its backside?
its face.
It.
That's its teeth right there. If a couple of seconds later you see me circling my mouse, this is its teeth. This is one of its nostrils, and it has like eye stalks or something. I have no idea what that is.
That is the ugliest thing.
Yeah. It's really flabby for some friggin' reason. I'm assuming it's to help it resist the really sharp rocks that are that it constantly faces. It lives similar to Paracerdon, except unlike the cliffs itself. And it is a selfish eater. It uses the weird looking teeth it has to basically rip the mollusks and clams right off the rocks, and it swallows them whole. So there we go. Lizards. Now this is one of my favorite parts of this area. The cliffsides do have 2 primary lizard species. There is Varanus dracopellis, otherwise known as a dragon skin, the only mondo lizard on the island. It has really ornamental colors. Even the book specifies that's not exactly sure why it has this. Both genders have this bright coloration, so they're not even sure whether or not it was used for display or some other purpose.
Maybe for camouflage?
I don't know, I looked at the cliffs and they were usually black or brown.
I doubt something that vibrant would be able to hide itself well.
Maybe in the coral.
Unless, does it swim?
No, it's essentially the top predator of the hundreds of meter high cliffs. They're the largest carnivorous animal that can actually traverse them properly, and as such, he can pretty much have his way with anything that's up there. The smaller lizard to his right, seagull eggs, adult seagulls maybe if he can somehow catch one.
So,
Hello?
the one that's the dragon skin, is this animal venomous or like non-venomous?
Since it's a monitor lizard, I'm assuming it's somewhat venomous, as all monitor lizards are.
It could possibly be used as a warning system, like you know how like tree frogs sometimes have bright coloring to warn predators, like, hey, don't mess with me.
Yeah, true. God forbid it ends up closer down to the ground and meets the Tartarosaurus guy. It's not going to get eaten, maybe.
Possibly.
And then there's the Discoscora, which is... The island has many, many flying lizard species. And this is one of them, the only one by the coast. And it uses its wings, obviously, to glide among the air currents to head up the cliffs. And it also needs them because they are a favorite food for the seagulls when they're not catching fish. So...
Yeah.
Huh.
There we go.
That sounds interesting, actually.
Estuary species. Now...
There's an island out there with a lot of freaking iguanas. I forget what it's called.
Galapagos?
I think, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there's tons of
So
marine
many.
iguanas.
There's so many there. It's like, how do they survive?
There's the estuary species. Now, obviously, the entrance of waterways, there are estuaries, which are essentially swamp-like places that help to filter out the excess salt and turn to salt water.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
start with this very weird animal right here. Acidactylus mandocaris.
That actually looks pretty freaking badass, I've got to say.
It does, but you'll see what I mean. It is incredibly weird. Now,
like an owl.
It looks like an Allosaurus with freaking skeleton arms.
it doesn't specify exactly what animal this could have evolved from, because it looks like a dinosaur essentially, but it also has like the very raw Suchin looking head. So, and general like body. The coast seems to be in favor of these types of animals, so I'm not exactly sure whether it's a dinosaur or that.
It could be just highly evolved Rasuchin.
True.
One of these gets eaten by the V-Rex.
There is one, and we'll get to him a bit later. Now, this guy is a specialized shellfish eater. It wades into estuaries and uses those two long claws of its to drag clams and such out of the muck. And even weirder than that, it has two sets of nostrils on its head. There's one where the nostrils normally would be right at the front of the head, but then there's a second one, second pair like right on the top of the head. Now these have two primary functions. The first is when they're digging through the muck of their estuary home, they can keep their head up above water somewhat and breathe through those set of nostrils instead of the first one. And it's also when different individuals of the same species are interacting with each other, they can shut their first nostril shut and blow through those ones to create some sort of sound.
Like a low
That's gonna
infrasound,
be...
like a low infrasounds noise, like an elephant.
I'm gonna look at it real quick and see if it describes the sound at all. I should really have this open to where we're
I think
at.
it's like a...
It actually says trumpet calls to one another.
Oh, trumpet calls. Like
Yeah, there we go.
My cringy performance.
Now, there is some things I like to note. I did purposely leave some animals out of this because otherwise it would go off a lot longer than it should have, and also so you guys can get the book yourselves. I personally recommend you guys really get the book. It is really cool.
I'm not buying it.
Alright, so we talked about this guy. Let's just talk about this guy real quick because he's pretty simple. Dirusuchus, or the dire crocodile as referred to in the book. There's
It's a
not...
ragu crocodile, right?
I'm assuming that this guy is just a regular crocodile that made its way on the island. It looks pretty weird for a regular crocodile, but I'm just going to leave it at that. And it doesn't have its own section. It doesn't really go into detail about what this animal is, but I'm assuming it lives akin to regular crocodiles. Just chilling out, occasionally murdering something by the shoreline. and things like that. And then there's the Nefundusaurus cerbus, a close cousin of the Tartarosaurus that's on the beaches. This guy is of very similar size and is the top predator of the estuary. Practically anything he can get his teeth on are fair game. He often steals food from the other two whenever given the option, because he can. He'll also prey on them, most likely when given the option. Practically anything. You can see him feeding on a human there.
Wait, that's a human?
Yeah, look carefully.
Can you send the full size picture? I can't really see.
Nah, I can't do that right now. I physically can't do anything besides what's displayed on stream right now.
God damn it, I can't see. What is it? Don't come in. No. Wait.
Let me see what else he says about this guy.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, this guy is essentially the top predator and scavenger of the area. He'll eat anything alive, pretty much, or dead.
What is?
The Nefundusaurus down here.
Nefundosaurus.
Is that a dinosaur, or has it just got saurus to be fancy?
There's a lot of non-dinosaur animals which have saurus at the end of them. It's a close relative. It's a close relative of the Tartarosaurus that's on the beaches. It's another Rauisuchian.
Yeah, it's basically a big, evolved Postosuchus.
Yeah, basically.
I love Postosuchus, they're cool dinosaurs. Not a dinosaur for sake.
Alright, now the final part of the shoreline is humans. Now we all know them from the movie, those crazy, almost not human native people that attempted to sacrifice the main woman character to Kong.
Yep.
Now, these live purely by the coast. Any attempts to move further inland are just immediately stopped by the influx of bigger, badder dinosaurs. They are primarily fishermen. They often pole vault across different sections of the cliff sides in order to get to different fishing spots. And the sacrificial ritual displayed in the movie, that is a regular occurrence. That is a regular occurrence. I don't know exactly why Kong, but they deeply respect Kong. It's their deity. And they didn't explain how often it happens, but I'm assuming annually. They choose one of the young females from the group to get sacrificed to him.
Why a young female?
No idea.
I have a possible idea, but it's not really appropriate.
And
this is not a place for jokes.
Okay, so probably like
it wasn't a
how
joke.
in early societies people females is probably less of a person than a male. They probably saw them as being able to be sacrificed to them because they aren't contributing as much as a male would to their society.
Could be.
So they would sacrifice someone who wasn't as important to them, to this god, in order to appease them, and still be able to keep the people who are valuable.
Oh yeah, that's true. And as Char stated down here, the males go through sort of like the males go through some sort of manhood ritual, where someone goes up and literally carves something into their face with a knife, some sort of symbol.
Ow.
Yeah, it's sort of to test their mettle.
Nice.
Now, these ruins off to the right. There's many, many large ruins scattered throughout the island, including one great wall that spans on one side. Now,
again, Mexico to pay that wall.
That was stupid.
Yeah. They concluded that there's absolutely no way that the current people on the island could have done this. That, as said before, any attempts for them to try to do anything besides what they have now have just backfired due to the natural animals and natural elements taken out with them. Yeah. So it's speculated that possibly hundreds of thousands of years ago, some other ancient civilization came on the island and started to make a civilization. where they all went is completely unknown. They left no trace of where they went at all.
They died. They all got
Probably.
eaten.
Probably.
All right,
That's
now,
my vote.
next up.
Vote. Do you think they just deliberately disappeared, or they all got eaten? I want to see what people think.
All right, next up, the shrinking lowlands. Now,
Oh god.
this is
yeah.
the valleys and the open plains. This
I
is
see
one.
a V-Rex.
This is the smallest habitat in the island, due to, as I said before, the island is shrinking at a pretty fast rate. The island has gotten to a quarter of its size within the past 75 years, basically.
Which was sad because they all died from drowning in the end.
True.
Or they found a new island to inhabit.
The mainland.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get started with the large herbivores. Now, pardon me. They're...
Nice one.
Thank you. Let's start off with Brontosaurus baxteri. It's by far the largest animal on the island at 100 feet long. It's huge. They live in pretty small herds. Oh, well, compared to how we usually depict sauropods, like 5 to 10, depends. And
It's not large.
they're usually led by one. It's multi-gender, with all of them being
One's the
led by
alpha.
one massive bull, and it's fairly rare for them to vocalize unless needed to. They often spread out for food over larger distances and communicate through stomps on the ground. Now, funny thing is, unlike how you usually depict with sauropods, you know how they usually lay hundreds of eggs at once and then leave them?
Mm-hmm.
And they gave birth to live young.
Yep. And only one at a time, similar to elephants. It's a much smaller island than what sauropods are usually used to being on. They cannot afford such a large population that the other breeding strategy would have given them.
I'll be right back.
Alright. Unlike sauropods either, these guys actually do protect their young fiercely. And
Yeah, that's right, because usual behaviour is them just leaving them in millions to have more food than can be stomached.
yeah,
But they can't do it in such a small island, can they?
no.
Speaking of which, how big do you think the island is in terms of square miles?
I don't know.
I do not know. I'll actually take a look at the book to give a rough estimate. I'm assuming several miles across.
Jesus,
me
that's
see.
small.
I mean, with Isla Sorna, it's like several hundred square miles.
Ether sauna was an abomination.
It ain't.
Well, the novel was, but in the movie,
The movie was better than the book. I have read the book.
Yeah,
and
in
it's
my,
horrible.
I think the same thing. I personally hated the book with a passion.
It was just boring.
yeah,
It
the
was like,
book
They spent 8 chapters in a friggin' office. Hello?
yeah.
in the book,
couldn't-
Sorna is like a death trap. It's way too small for all those dinosaurs.
Yeah. Now, I'm looking at it. I'm just looking at the general size and guessing. I don't think it's similar in size to Isla Sorna. I'm guessing... I know it's smaller than Isla Sorna. That's all I know. It's very small. Now, one other interesting factor that I think is quite interesting. The head bull in the herd, he emits a pheromone that prevents all other male individuals within the herd to reaching sexual maturity. They all get to sort of a early subadult stage and then just stay there.
Why?
So nobody else can have the ladies.
That's kind of just fucked up.
Now, their defensive measures. Normally their sheer size keeps everything away from them, but there is the occasional V-Rex at the size of that wants to try to take a youngster. The females, they usually go on a defensive measure, protecting the kids, while the subadult bulls are... Their main job within the herd is to basically fight off predators. And in a sort of messed up way, that's sort of another reason why the bull keeps him at a subadult stage. So maybe the V-Rex will take a subadult and not a baby.
Oh, actually, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, only the head bull is an adult. The only
It is fucked up,
Yeah,
but it's
the-
still a very cool way to protect your young.
the only other male, all the other males in the herd are young subadults,
Huh.
which is a pretty unique thing. I've never seen any animal alive today do such a thing. And one final thing, just like all sauropods, they often are in charge of clearing out more lowlands. They clear out vast measures of trees every day by eating.
I'm surprised the trees could replace themselves fast enough.
They can't grow. That's what the pheromones. That's what the pheromone is for. It triggers something in their hormonal balances for them to stay as
I meant
the sexual
I meant
stage.
trees.
I know. I'm talking to chat right now because they have trouble
Oh.
comprehending that. All right. Next up, Logocristus innocens. This is the only hadrosaur on the island, I think, but
It
don't
looks
quote me
pretty
on that.
neat.
Now, it is a fairly generic hadrosaur. They're the most common animal in the lowlands. They live in pretty large numbers, and their main response to predators is running away. They don't really have much defenses.
So they're the French of Skull Island.
Moving on.
Okay, that was very bad.
It isn't the first time I've heard a joke like that, unfortunately.
That I've heard plenty of racist jokes.
Anyway, during the mating season, the males do that little sail on the back of the necks turns red during the mating season, and they display for females. But other than that, they are basically like every other hadrosaur depicted in life. And such
Yeah,
things.
really. It looks like an outdated Parasaurolophus with a flap behind its crest.
True. Now, next up, probably the meanest herbivore on the island, Verrucotus cerastes. Now,
They look very badass.
They are.
and they're highly aggressive too. They won't tolerate anything getting near them. Well, the females, which is the second picture down underneath the first one, they're quite a bit more passive. They're a lot more defensive. But the head male in the herd, the head male is
Very aggressive.
yeah. Males get to 50% larger than females, and they also have a lot meaner and larger looking horns, as you can tell comparing the two.
That's pretty neat.
Now, there's only one male in the herd who controls a harem of females, and as you can imagine, there's often lone or bachelor herds of other males that try to take the herd from him, which can resort into jousting matches, which, unlike usually depicted in media, how Triceratopses fight, while they normally aren't fatal, they can get pretty violent. The injury is not uncommon in these battles over dominance.
Yeah, I can gather it's not really in any ecosystem. Dominance is always something you're going to fight fiercely over. Because
Yeah.
it means you get to control a bunch of lives.
And as the chat is saying, this guy was meant to be in the movie, but was cut out. There's a deleted scene with him completely trashing the team, basically.
Actually,
damn.
in an edition.
Yeah, they did release a longer version of the movie that had all the deleted scenes in them, and they're very, very cool. One of them has a male Verrucotus who basically charges at the group, wrecks people, and then ends up getting shot and died. So
But takes a few of them with him.
true. Next up is the oddities on this section of the island. First off, we got the termites. Now, Skull Island has its own species of termite, Truxter obsestificillus.
I hate them.
Now, they function very similar to termites around the world. They are very different in that regard, but how they are unique is in their relationship with other animals such as Verrucotus. In order to rid them...
Vixel's got to go.
Alright, that's unfortunate. Well, it was nice
She's
having
got
you here,
an
Vixel.
emergency.
Alright, it was nice having you here, Vixel. And
Ugh.
basically, most animals of that size get riddled with parasites and other such annoyances. So often what Frocatus will do, in order to get rid of this, they will actively go up to termite mounds and rub up against it, provoking the termites to attack them. Now, the Frocatus has extremely thick skin, so it will not get harmed by the termites in any way, shape, or form. But the parasites that are hanging out on its back, they're all gonna die and get eaten, basically. Which is something that's pretty cool. I've never seen such a way like that. Normally things take dust or mud baths in order to get rid of it, or have other animal buddies, but no.
So they're kind of like oxpeckers, but termites.
Yeah.
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 That reminds me of that movie where the termites were just eating everyone. That Indiana
Never
Jones movie, has anyone seen it?
I don't think I've ever watched Indiana Jones,
The
actually.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, they have these termites that if they eat you, if they get to you, they just shred and eat you.
Yeah, and as Chardemon is saying down below, when we get back to Frocatus, this is similar to how ceratopsids are often depicted in media, how they defend themselves against predators. The females will form a defensive ring around the young, while the head bull will go in there and try to outright charge and chase the attacker away. So there we go.
Huh.
Finally, there
Does it
is
always work?
the Calcareosaurus eoneus. Now, this animal is very, very weird. Now, at first glance, it does look like an ankylosaur, right? Well,
Yeah.
the thing with it is, while it does not point out exactly what it is, it doesn't say it's an ankylosaur, nor does it point out to be anything else. But it does also point out to possibly, it does hint at possibly being a highly evolved lizard, like the
Like the horned lizards.
the horned lizard, the thorny dragon of Australia, and such other things.
Damn.
Now these things essentially have very few predators. The only things that could probably eat them is the V-Rex, obviously, because it's so large that
Badass V-Rex.
it's so large that it can just crunch through the armor it has. And there's also the raptors from the movie, which I'm going to get into a bit later. They are smart enough to know... What?
I said, ooh, raptors.
They are smart enough to know to flip the thing onto its back and get at the soft underbelly. So, there we go. And then there's the Formicavoro, or, as it's nicknamed, Termitosaurus.
Oh god, no.
This is not a dinosaur. It's another sort of archosaur kind of animal. And it is the island's anteater. It specializes in cracking open termite mounds and eating them inside. There we go.
Very appetizing.
Now we get on to the V-Rex, the Vestatosaurus Rex.
Oh, yeah.
Finally.
The absolute top predator of the island, at 70 feet long, or I believe that's 21 meters in the metric system. It is massive. Almost
And
double the size of the...
Almost as big as the dinosaur I created.
And
Almost as big as Hyperendosaurin.
Oh yeah,
I don't know
true.
what the hell that is.
It's the Hyporex from the Isle.
Oh, Hyperrex.
When I first saw the Hyporex of the Isle, I got serious vibes from this guy.
Thing I keep dying to every time I join a server and try to become a bigger Rex. Just like crunch and I'm dead. It's not fair.
As I said before, this guy's the absolute top predator of the island. He is massive. In the general environment that he lives on, the lowlands, the open plains, there is no predator that even comes close to their size or power. Nothing. And
Compared to humans, they're huge.
yeah. And their favorite prey is the Ludicrosus, the hadrosaurs I mentioned earlier, but they will take on Frocatus and Brontosaurs on occasion, as you can see down below. Now, one thing that I do find pretty interesting about them is how their arms work. Now, they are
I was wondering that.
they were starting to somewhat, I can say, evolve back their arms. Now, I will get into this a bit later, but basically, when they're born, they have incredibly long arms. they look strikingly similar to raptors. But as they get older, they start to shrink, essentially. But even as adults, they're still quite large in comparison to the Tyrannosaurs of the late Cretaceous. Now, this is mainly used...
the body size ratio.
Yeah. Now, as depicted down in the bottom right, it is mainly used to help get food to where they want it quicker. It is used as a... is used to keep the corpse from swinging back and forth or causing problems as it trots along. Vestatosaurs are solitary animals. They have fairly large territories across the lowlands.
Until they need to get it on, of course.
Yeah. Males, they typically only consist of open plains, but the females, they typically have their territories bordering deep forests, which is where they go to lay their eggs and nest.
Cool.
Now, as you can see down the bottom left, Vestatosaurs maintain their territory via the typical animal markings, and also vocalization plays a big role. They often roar to establish their general status. And normally combat is fairly rare among individuals due to the fact that you can tell the health of the other animal just based on the sound of their...
Are they good mothers? Are they good mothers?
I will actually get into this later on, but no, essentially. Once they lay their eggs, they mark the heck out of the place so predators won't bother getting near it, and then they leave. So...
Ouch.
I will get into this a bit later. And during the mating season, the males, they leave their territory and head into female territories in order to mate. And this is the only time when V-Rexes actually get together in somewhat numbers.
Without killing each other.
Yeah. Males are still highly aggressive to each other, though. They will not tolerate each other's presence at all. And something I did find interesting...
That's antisocial behavior. I'm gonna have them arrested.
Something I do find interesting is subadults. Subadults, which normally live in the forest during the time of age, during the breeding season, will head out into the lowlands to observe the adults, see how they do their thing, how they hunt, and just essentially know how to be a V-Rex. And
can I make a comment on that picture in the bottom right?
Yes.
I can't. Whenever I look at that picture, I can't help but think. I'll just type it on Discord. Look.
I can't see it on Discord, but I think I already know what you're thinking. I think.
Yeah.
Humping his face.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that because of the viewers.
Fantastic. And
Thank you.
and another thing that subadults will do. Another thing subadults will do. The cheeky buggers they are. When the males leave their territories in order to go and get the females, they'll try to take them over. Yeah, they'll try to steal the territories while the current males are occupied. Not a good idea, in my opinion, but you do you.
Hey, it works, right?
In theory, but adult V-Rexes are like a good quarter the size larger than the subadults, so God bless their soul. Next up, we got the carrion feeders as well as...
It's got longer arms.
True. And next up we got carrion feeders. Now, similar to the plains of Africa, the lowlands have their own fair share of large amounts of scavengers that will notice a corpse upon minutes of it arriving, essentially.
Look ugly.
Yep. Now,
Oh,
they're
what do
just
you
very...
think? They're bugs.
What?
I said, what do you think they're gonna look like? They're bugs.
True. And there is this really cool shot that I didn't really want to include here of there being a dead hadrosaur, and it just be piled upon piled with scavengers, birds, reptiles, dinosaurs,
Post it
bugs.
on Discord so we can have a look at it.
Once again, I can't, but if you look through Google at such a thing, you'll probably find it. And they're all trying to tear it apart as quickly as possible before a V-Rex that's in the background goes charging towards them and scares them all away, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, so the V-Rex is just the undisputed dominant dinosaur.
Nothing challenges it in its main area.
Except for one.
even then, as I will get into later, King Kong and his species don't really go out into the lowlands, but I will get to that later. Now let's just go through all this one by one. There's other scavengers that are not on here, but I will put them here. There is a scissor beetle, which has a scissor-like jaw, perfect for shearing meat. The carrion beetle is fairly undisputed at the carrion site because it disputes an odor around a certain area of the carcass to where if anything else tries to eat that part of the kill, it'll taste terrible. So
Meat is meat, though, right? When you're desperate, you don't really taste it.
I can see that. And then the island has 4 species of carrion storks. This is just 2 of them: Prophenornis spinosus and Sordiscus. One
Why
has
do
a.
these have to look bad? I thought birds were meant to look cute.
Think of marabou storks and vultures, really. These are sort of similar. Now, Prophenornis
Vultures
is.
are kind of cute.
Hmm?
I just said vultures are kind of cute.
Kinda, when they're not up to their necks in blood and rotting food.
Apart from that,
Yeah.
when they're passive, they're cute. These
Now-
things, when they're passive, look horrible.
Now, Prophenornis spinosus, it doesn't really show it here, but similar to a couple of other birds on the island, as well as a prehistoric bird called Pelagornis. I'm not really going to get into what it is, but essentially similar to this bird. Instead of having teeth on its beak, it has edges on its beak that look exactly like teeth, but they're just part of the beak itself. And they're used to cut through meat. Prophenornis, while it is a scavenger, it will eat food of its own more than the other species. It has sort of a beak used for scooping up food in the dirt. And other such things. And then, this is probably one of the most surprising things on here: carrion parrots. Out of the 7 species of parrot on the island, 6 of them are carrion feeders that live on the lowlands. Now, it's exactly what it sounds like. They're essentially the vultures of the island. Instead of using their beaks to cut through nuts and fruit, they shear through meat. Now let's just get on to dung really quick, because as you can imagine, similar to the African plains, there is an emphasis on dung and how important it is to the landscape. There is dung beetles here, as there is on the African plains. They're practically identical to their African counterparts in every way. And then there's Cuneiusaurus alba, or the wedgehead lizard, which is a species that specializes in only eating dung beetles, which I think is pretty cool.
Wow, how's it going to survive when they go extinct? Exactly, it can't.
Now next up, terror birds. Now,
Terror birds are never good.
there are 2 species of terror birds on the island, and both are pictured very similar to each other, except one is a bit quicker, more sleek, while the other one's just a lot more brute force. There's Xeropteryx and Brutornis. There we go.
So you can basically, it's basically in the name what their differences are.
It looks a bit
Kinda,
like
actually.
a dodo rex. You know that?
Yeah, the
thing from
Brutornis, yeah, it does somewhat look like it.
That thing is creepy.
They live lives very similar to how terror birds are normally depicted. They are fast pursuit predators that use their beaks primarily to hunt down and kill prey. And how their nesting behavior is, they are solitary, only getting together to mate. The female it was emphasized more on the Brutornis' part. The female will lay eggs on her own and stay with them until they hatch. She will not leave them unless to defend them from a predator. And she will...
Is there an echo?
Yeah, there is.
I am so sorry.
And similar to if you saw Walking with Dinosaurs with the female Rex, she will not leave the nest at all under any circumstances. She will starve herself in order to stay there until they hatch.
Talk about dedication.
Now there's wily opportunists, which are essentially... they're kind of nest raiders, essentially. There is the... I'll get on to the second one first, because it's basically a lot more simple.
The second one the second one looks so neat.
This one, the second one doesn't really have its own section for some reason, but it is emphasized somewhat in the book when talking about other animals. Adlapsusaurus. It is the island. It is pretty adaptable. It lives in both plains and deep jungles.
The Iceland's Dilophosaur.
Hmm?
It looks like the Iceland's Dilophosaur, I was just saying.
As I said before, the book says practically nothing about this creature. It just shows a picture and says it just shows a picture, says its name, and it says what its general habit is. It almost entirely raids nests. That's its lifestyle. It will actively seek out the nests of other animals and eat the eggs and babies.
Dinosaurs were cruel motherfuckers, weren't they?
Then there's the Lycosaurus kirki, which is a gorgonopsid, about the size of a hyena, and it is the lowlands jackal, essentially. It primarily scavenges, but it will occasionally hunt animals, as you saw in the front picture before we started this section. It depicted it trying to kill a baby Frogatus, a small group of them. So they're opportunistic. They'll take whatever they can, really. They live in mating pairs of a male and female, and similar to jackals, they dig their own little burrows in the ground and raise their young ones there. The neat thing about them is they have their own specialized way of raiding nests, particularly terror bird nests, as this is the easiest way for them to do it. One individual will go in and distract the mother and attempt to lure it as far away from the nest as possible, while the other one goes in and takes the eggs. So
it's like a Didelphodon?
Essentially, Didelphodon didn't really have much more brain power to it. It just sort of went in when nobody was looking and took stuff. So, all right, now nocturnal predators. Now this is where we get this is where we get to sort of the uglier side of the lowlands. This is also where we get our introduction to probably the very symbol of Skull Island diversity, the rat bats. You see
I'm just going to go.
Rat bats.
Can we skip this part?
No.
It's only one section. This is the only thing here of this section. Now, Volocuscerictus is basically the first example in here known as the bat rats. They are not pterosaurs, they are not bats. They are a group of rodents on the island that have evolved for flight. Now, these guys are harmless. They are insectivores. They only eat insects similar to modern bats. They live in mating pairs and roost in trees during the day but come out at night. Similar to birds today, they are fiercely territorial, their own little roosting area, and will defend their turf against others of their kind. So there we go, this is a pretty tame example. The Turpus porcarius, or pug bat, on the other hand, is completely the opposite. Now, this guy is not a bat rat. He is actually, cynodonts, the mammal-like reptiles.
Yeah.
This is a cynodont, only has evolved for flight. There's a lot of animals on here from different groups that have evolved for flight. This is just one of the weird offshoots. Now, these guys are the stuff of nightmares.
We can tell just by looking at it.
While the Voloceratus looks
for the
pretty,
full millisecond that I managed to look at it.
I mean, the bat rat on here is perfectly harmless. It looks friggin' ugly. This one, on the other hand, it's as mean as it looks. During nighttime, they hunt in packs and look for small animals to hunt. There is this one picture in the book that is extremely gruesome. It shows basically a whole pack of them tearing a baby ceratopsid apart.
Wasn't that the bat that attacked Con?
No, we'll get to those ones later, but they're very, very, they're awful, really. the saliva in their mouths is also extremely bacteria infested. Even if the animal that they started ravaging and manages to fight them all off, odds are whatever got into their system will get to their heart and trigger a heart attack, essentially from the shock that it inflicted.
Yeah.
Oh god, that is very great. Can we please move on before I actually throw up?
Finally, Galoides luna, or the moon spider. It does not really depict much on the thing. This is not an actual picture, obviously, but it does look pretty similar to the one from Welcome to Monsters. And they basically do hunt at night. They hunt similar to modern tarantulas. They'll really take anything that's small enough for them to handle. They actually have one particular strategy for raiding nests at night, which is pretty sad. They can sense through vibrations on the ground whether the eggs are going to hatch or not. So they'll sit on top of the nest and wait for the egg babies to be born. And when they do, he just eats all of them, instead of just trying to break them out of the eggs.
Oh god.
Alright. Next up. Finally moving on.
Please.
How big is a moon spider? I will look it up.
Don't care. Let's move on. I don't want to know about
The
it
chat
anymore.
demands. The chat demands. It is 6 to 8 inches across. Pretty big. Not as big as the biggest spiders today, but still pretty big.
Okay, can we finally move on?
Alright. The winding swamps and waterways. Now, the island obviously have its own rivers that intertwine among the island. They go through all types of environments as well as swamps. And this has their own share of fauna, which... it's still big, you know. It's about as big as your hand, really.
Jesus, my hands are pretty big as well.
Essentially, the island does have its own share of ecosystems of organisms that live only on the water, as well as animals that actually have their own certain behaviors by the water. So first off, we're just going to jump straight into the top predator. Pteranodon titanus. I will wait for the thing to pop up on your guys' end, or the stream to catch up.
That doesn't look very friendly.
It doesn't.
Similar to the V-Rex, this is one of the undisputed kings of the water. It is also the second largest animal on the island as a whole, except for the V-Rex and the Brontosaurus.
Wouldn't that technically
Right.
be the third biggest?
I mean predators. Now, isn't
be
there
the
a bigger
second
spider? Spiders today can't get bigger than 6 inches. The Brazilian wandering spider of South America can get up to a foot in width. So,
Only because all the
Brazil is not a good place for bugs.
Right.
Like, expect to be eaten alive almost instantly over there.
now, as I said before, this is the undisputed top predator of the island. It is huge, up to 50 feet long, or I believe that's 15 meters in length.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
If they cut out the spider part, that's probably very good.
now, this guy, while he's a fish, he does not favor other fish prey. They hunt similar to crocodiles. They wait right under the water surface on the edge of steep drop-offs in the water, with the little feelers that are on their cheekbones down there pressed against the ground in order to detect vibrations of the animals from above. Their eyesight is not very good due to how usually murky the water is, but their eyesight is good enough to be able to determine whether or not an animal's above them. So they launch out of the water mouth first and grab whatever animal's up above.
Oh, unlucky victim, eh?
And another unique feature about this guy, this is the only fish I know which actually has a neck that can actively turn. And this is an adaptation that they use in order to get through very,
Tight spots.
very thin water and mangrove trees and other stuff like that.
Yeah, what is that doing on land?
Oh yeah, well that'll get right next to our... Excuse me, I'm finding trouble talking right now. The pteranodon has a very special behavior in order to get rid of parasites, once again. It will deliberately breach itself onto land, and many animals, such as birds, lizards, and other animals like that, they know about this, so so once they know this happens, they all rush over and
Eat the parasite.
eat all the parasites that are on its body, deliberately breaching herself. This can only happen for so long, because at the end of the day, it's a fish. It needs to get back into the water before it suffocates. But it's a unique adaptation.
Yes, it is
I like.
Skull Island.
Now,
it says in the title, you know.
Another thing is their drastic sexual dimorphism. You see the big ones in these pictures? They're females. They are the big 50-foot long giants. The like 50 other smaller ones that are surrounding the big one in the picture are males. They at most get up to 20 feet long, and even then most of them are smaller. Usually, how they mate during the mating season is usually one female will get harassed by a bunch of other males, and she usually will just ignore them due to the fact that, well, due to how large she is compared to them, she naturally moves faster than they do. So, sort of an indirect way of determining the genes is only the fastest males are capable of catching up to her and mating with her. So, there we go.
Oh, so how? So that she refuses to mate?
She doesn't refuse to mate. She just sort of... She half ignores them and half tries to avoid them. And it's up to the males to try to catch up to her, really.
Oh, so it's a good test then.
Yeah, it's similar to... I don't know if real lizards do this, but I do remember with The Future is Wild, which was about speculative evolution. How it basically went was there was this one species of lizard that they talked about, where the female tests how good the male is if he's capable of racing her well.
Oh yeah,
so,
oh yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, the cryptile.
I think so. I don't remember exactly the name. I should watch that again. Now this is another bunch of nope. I'm sorry, Velociforus, but you're gonna have to deal for a moment.
Oh god, no, please.
The swamps of Waterways are home to a very specialized group of animals known as the Neopedes. No.
Alright, let's move on. We finally get to the next one. Moving along.
Now, despite what these guys look like, they are not centipedes. They are actually a highly derived group related to the lampreys.
No, Skinova, they are not centipedes, because they're worse than centipedes.
Adrian in the chat, I remember these fuckers. Alright. So essentially, the island's waterways are home to many of these centipede-looking fish, I guess.
At least Liam agrees with me. No, not these!
God damn it, Scan, not with this shit.
Everyone's telling you to just move on.
Then I'll summarize it real quick. Most of these, they're just natural water predators, but I do want to talk about the one on the farthest right real quick. The Nepipede Harpagbadominus, or Scorpiopede. These guys have
wait, is there a worse one coming?
The worst one is yet to come for me. This island is basically... As the book itself put it, the island is essentially a zoologist's dream, but a field scientist's nightmare. The island itself is interesting, but there's no way in hell you'd want to go there under any circumstance. Everything there will murder you in some way, shape, or form.
And it's going to be, no matter what it is, even if it's a Vatosaurus, it's going to be a very slow and gruesome death.
Pretty much.
Alright, Adrian?
Unless the Vatosaur just swallows you whole.
Alright. Adrian, the book is split into 6 main sections, and we're on the 3rd one now. So we're actually going through this a lot quicker than I thought I would, which is pretty cool. Now back onto the Nepipede. They do have an interesting life cycle, where during their larval stage, they kind of essentially look like buggy-looking towels, really, as you can see from the top image. And they are carnivorous. They are water hunters, similar to the other Neopedes displayed here.
They kind of look like Anomalocaris.
Yep. And yeah, as they do state, the Mortophilus veneficus, It is not an active swimmer like the other ones. It tends to just sit at the bottom floor, but does have a fish-like lure that uses to lure prey toward its very nightmarish-looking mouth.
Yes,
So,
we move on now.
Alright. The Nepipede adults, their body shifts into looking shockingly similar to a scorpion. And unlike their water-hunting relatives, they are land-bound and are herbivores. They feed on moss and other similar plants. Now, this is not just because it's a herbivore doesn't mean they're friendly. They are highly territorial and will practically attack anything that gets near them, really.
Cool.
And the stinger at the end of their appendage, that is not just for show. There are many animals which do have stuff similar in the animal kingdom that are practically harmless, but with this one, no. This is a stinger with venom that it uses to defend itself. With larger animals, this is just an annoyance, really, but for smaller ones, it can kill. So, moving on.
Finally.
Nope.
Thought it never end.
This is kind of bad, really, but it's not as bad. Oversized invertebrates and scavengers. Now, the island does have its own fair share of everyday insects.
This is worse. Let's move on even faster.
This one is pretty quick.
Can we move back to the other one, please? This is worse.
Nope, we've gone past that.
These ones... The book doesn't really go into them in detail besides the fact that they are fairly oversized. There's... I forgot the exact water beetles. I don't know the exact term for them. They're also known as toe biters. They are insects that go underwater and hunt for bugs. There's water striders and back striders, as you can see respectively. One hunts on the surface tension above the water, and one hunts on the surface tension on the bottom of the water. And then there's classic mosquitoes. Most of these are exactly identical to the animals seen in other parts of the world, only they're much larger. Most of them get to 2 inches in length. Which is... I don't know.
Cool.
Then,
cool, actually, no.
then there's also some specialized scavengers among the waterways. There's carrion crabs, as well as the impu cars or carrion whelk. These are ones that are purely scavengers. Next up, large herbivores.
Large herbivores, just wait for it to switch over.
There is one main new species that's depicted in this. There is the Malamagnus vadum, which is, it doesn't exactly pick what it is, but I'm assuming it's a mammal-like reptile of sorts. It's herbivore that lives mainly by the water, and it looks fairly mean. They are pretty loud in nature. When they live by the water, and when faced with predators, they are pretty good swimmers, so they will retreat to the water when threatened. And then, up to the right, there's a picture of a Leucocristus that I put here. Some Leucocristus individuals have learned a pretty neat way of nesting. There are certain secluded islands on the waterways, which these guys will specifically come across to nest and care for their young. This is because of the fact that most predators on the waterways are waterbound, while most things won't bother to cross the river because of the things in the water. Which I think is pretty cool. There is a bit of a dangerous venture with the young on the island trying to make their way back across the water. Some predators know their nesting habits, so will try to take the babies.
Well, everything tries to kill babies on this island. This is a fucking... I don't want to go there.
Char, if I may ask, can you not really spoil everything down in the chat, really? Just saying, I want to keep things linear. Practically everything you're saying I'll get to anyway, so...
Yeah,
Turtles.
Char, if you're spoiling things, please stop. Like, that's not cool for people who want to watch this and learn stuff.
Yeah.
So we got turtles. There's a Phedocheles huspies, or known as the dirt turtle. Now, it's exactly what it looks like in the picture. This turtle specializes in eating the dung of other animals that drop down to the ocean floor.
It's a baby deb fest, ain't it?
And then there's also, this is not an actual...
Let me guess. These ones eat babies somehow too. I knew it.
anything will eat babies on this island, as you said.
Yes, this might as well be renamed to the Festival of Eating Babies.
Then again, in nature, practically anything will eat a baby as well. So
That's not actually true. More
Really?
predators nowadays, even dinosaur times, they generally went for the bigger ones that were young, old, and sick. They didn't go for little babies because they couldn't fill them up. It'd just be kind of pointless wasting all that energy to raid a nest, wouldn't it?
I don't know, really, but let's move on. That was a bit of a spoiler there for people who accidentally saw the misclick. Inimicostia insula, or the Skull Island snapper.
Oh, you're doing this on PowerPoint.
Yeah. Now, this is not an
We
actual
can't afford Sony Vegas, we're poor.
Now, this is not an actual picture of it, but it's the closest thing I could find of it. This is not a relative of the island, other snapping turtles that are found elsewhere. It is actually a highly evolved member of the herbivorous tortoises that has basically had convergent evolution and became a snapping turtle. These guys hunt very similar to snapping turtles as well. They will search around the ocean floor looking for things to eat.
Babies.
Carnivores. How's everything not extinct on the island with all the babies being eaten? In the chat.
Somehow they managed to defend all the baby-eating madness. Practically everything wanted to eat their babies. I bet the mums were busy.
Just imagine how absolute hell it is for the mothers on the island.
They just have to constantly be running around killing everything, trying to eat their babies.
Like alligator snappers, yeah. These guys are actually a bit more akin to the common snappers. An interesting thing about the alligator and common snappers. Alligator snappers, they're a lot bigger and they look a lot meaner, but they're generally a lot less. They're generally a lot less aggressive and tend to just stay at the bottom and wait for food to come to them. They got their own little lure on the tongues for that. While with the common,
what's it called? The thing that plesiosaurs hunted, I forgot they're called. They just lie in wait for their prey to come at them.
That's not really how plesiosaurs hunted. They slowly crept up on their prey because
You just said they waited.
their small head didn't register as a threat for the fish, so they'd slowly move in, sort of just sliding on in there before snapping a fish up.
Oh.
Unlike back to what I was saying, the alligator snapper, pretty big, but pretty passive and just sort of chills on the bottom. The common snapping turtle is basically what the Skull Island snapper is a lot similar to. Common snappers are smaller, but they actively hunt around and they're a lot more aggressive, really. They'll get their beak on anything.
Oh, great. That's not cool.
And finally, the picture in the middle. It is a loggerhead sea turtle. The island has, for some odd reason, I don't know why, the island has its own population of freshwater sea turtles. Loggerheads, to be precise. They are not genetically different enough to be considered a different species, but they are still different in many ways. They live in fresh water, obviously. They do not go out to sea. And also, unlike loggerhead snapping turtles, which feed primarily on jellyfish, these guys eat. I'm pretty sure that they eat plants. I'm pretty sure. Though, don't quote me on that. Even I'm not too sure. I'll look for this book.
Oh, you've got the book on hand, so
Yeah,
we're
I
not
do.
We're not that poor. Is it a rental?
I do not know.
You rented
Look
that
around.
book. That's how poor we are.
I did not rent that book. Living are extinct. It's an off-topic thing. What's your favorite turtle? I don't have one really, but probably snappers. The common snapper. I just love how, like, they just have, like, a honey badger style attitude. They don't care. They'll bite anything.
I don't like turtles, really. They're not my thing.
Alright, then we'll move on to other types of herps, reptiles, and amphibians. Now, first off is the...
It's not
Yeah, my
changed
bad.
over yet.
My mistake. I'll wait for a little bit.
There it is. It's over.
There
It's
it is.
over.
Alright. Next, first up is the Turtucassis.
I like the last one.
Now, the Turtucassis, this is not a picture of it, but it looks pretty dang similar. It doesn't state exactly what type of lineage it's from, but I'm pretty sure it's what are they called?
Nothosaurus?
Are they called
Even the
Nososaurs?
babies eat the other babies, Canova. That's how bad it is.
I forgot what they're called. What did plesiosaurs evolve from?
Nothosaurus?
Nothosaurs, there we go. I'm pretty sure this is what they came from, because this looks pretty dang similar to the real thing. Now, these guys are specialized turtle eaters. Their favorite prey is turtles, and that's practically all they eat.
Hey, Scanova.
Yes?
Don't you mean baby turtle eaters?
This is gonna be a whole joke throughout the whole video now, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's gonna be the bad running joke that we have. At least let me keep it for another hour.
Alright. Now, these guys use their narrow snake-like head to fit through the shells of the turtle shells. So they can just, instead of trying to break the shell, they just go right through the holes and start eating the turtle from there. So, now we got this amphibian, the Inoculopulus edax, or Enox for
The
short.
baby eater. Sorry.
That's actually not too far off from what I'm about to talk about. You called it.
Oh my god, I'm dying.
Looks like a Diplocaulus.
The book does talk about essentially being a living fossil. It is essentially the evolved Diplocaulus that has basically remained unchanged for all this time. The only thing is its size. It is a good 10 feet or 3 meters. It is pretty big. And similar to the Pteranodon, they mostly prefer to eat smaller land animals. And the book does depict them going after baby Logocristus on their way to the crossing the river. So, yeah. Dead babies for everyone.
This might as well be renamed to freaking Baby Eating Iceland. This is ridiculous.
Let's move on. Next we got the Udusaurus turpus.
Oh, I love this one. How many babies does this eat a day?
It is a river hunting reptile, as shown here. It is a close relative to the Turtucassis across the way. So I'm assuming that this guy is also a mosasaur, just a derived type. These guys, they live in small groups, small hunting groups, and their favorite prey is just fish. They normally don't really bother anything else.
I mean, baby fish?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
baby fish. Is it just the name means baby fish eater?
I don't know what it means, but I'm really hoping some animal on this island actually does mean baby eater. Some animal. I don't know what, but some animal.
Maybe the baby eatosaurus?
Rex?
Yes.
Yeah, let me just...
Baby eatosaurus Rex, murderer of killer babies.
Let me just say, you know how I said this stream may or may not go badly depending on what happens? Forget all of that, this is one of the best streams of all time. Okay, now murderfish is our next step.
Murderer of baby fish, you mean?
This is literally just going to be half the whole stream now. This is all it's going to be.
My lungs are on fire.
I can't stop laughing.
Oh, dear lord. Alright. Now let's try to not make another baby eater joke for the next minute or so. First off, we have the Sublucrostium mollusc, or sepulchro, and
It's so hard not to.
This thing, it hunts very similar to sort of the deep sea fish as the gulper eel. It
Kills baby. I'm sorry.
Let's keep it down for a bit. If we want to go on another tangent on this in the future, we can, but well, let's just not do it for like 5 seconds, okay? Please.
I'm trying. It's so hard.
Oh dear lord. Okay. So similar to the gulper eel and many other deep sea fish, this thing can swallow prey much larger than itself. There's also the Papilio, insert Pokemon joke here, monstrous Opico, or the Papilio, as I said before. And the book does not really go much into detail about this guy, or at least I don't think it does.
Well, at least we won't know how many. Okay,
Oh yeah.
Okay, I stopped myself. Don't worry.
This guy's favorite. This guy mostly eats invertebrates, such as the neopedes, that nightmare fuel that we came across before.
Invertebrate larvae?
Next discussion video: what eats babies? Everything in this freaking book.
Why? Oh, accidentally. No. Switch. There we go. I accidentally hit the keyboard, which made things switch over again. Now,
Oh, there's an Ostroraptor in this.
next up, there's the Latahydrus despicalis, or the killer eel. Now,
The
just
killer baby eel.
stop, please.
I can't.
I can't. I freaking can't. Why?
Pretty much Baby Eater is spoiler alert all the time at this point.
Hey, Skinova, you dragged us into this.
I know. It's Char's saying, let's just save the jokes for later on.
Alright.
Too hard not to say it.
Before we all die, please. Now, as I said before, the killer eel. This thing looks like an eel, but similar to the electric eel, it's not. It's part of its
So
own.
hard not to say a joke.
I will legitimately just stop the stream right now if we don't continue on, frankly.
Alright.
Alright, I'm sorry, I'll stop.
Whew.
One more joke. The
Okay.
baby
No.
killer eel.
Alright. Now,
Alright, that's it, I'm done. Restraining myself.
these guys are related to the lamprey, similar to the neopedes from before. Only these guys look a bit more like a lamprey and not nightmare fuel. These guys, they're essentially the living apocalypse. In the waterways that they live in very large shoals, and they just pass through areas practically eating everything in sight. Really. They'll eat any... Don't make me turn this stream around.
Don't make me
fucking hell.
turn this stream around.
As I said before, these guys...
I think you've lost your train of thought now, haven't you?
I seriously did lose my train of thought. Thanks, Char, for that. And
Hey, no problem.
these guys do practically murder any living, moving thing that they
Any
do come
living
across.
baby.
Stop
I'm
now. It's not even funny anymore at this point.
I know,
The
but
only
I still
thing-
can't help it.
The only thing that keeps these guys from not completely murdering the rest of the environment is the fact that they have a very slow reproductive cycle, so they're not murdering everything. And then finally, there's the book displays a ton of fish species, but the main one there's one main fish species I want to talk about, the Acusos cadaverosus, or needlemouth. Now, the front part is from the book. The back part is just sort of display what in general this fish look like. Now, this guy does act like a normal gar. Is the fast-moving hunter of the waterways. Really?
I put that in chat just so you wouldn't read it.
Okay. Now,
Alright, let's just proceed.
Yeah, let's
Thi-
proceed and pretend that never happened.
This is essentially the bane of all fish everywhere in the water, really. Anything that is not, well, you know what? They're just the fast moving fish hunter, essentially like a
God damn it, I want to
barracuda.
make the joke again.
Essentially like a barracuda, really. All right, what's next? Samotyrix or swamp wing. I'm going to wait for you guys to move it up because it's pretty interesting. It's another one.
Yeah, we are waiting.
It's another one. It's another one of those
Oh,
animals
Oh,
that
boy.
just sort of move. It's another animal which is not a bird, a bat, or a pterosaur. It just sort of evolved. It's another animal that has evolved its own way of flight. This is a frog. This is a
Does
frog.
it eat babies?
No. I don't know
You
what
sure?
these things eat, but I'm pretty sure that they are not big enough in order to eat babies. Or they won't even try to eat babies. They're passive, really. Yep, it's an amphibian. It is a frog.
I need to go take a piss. I'll be right back.
Alright. Now. These guys do have a life cycle fairly similar to most other frogs. Only as they start to mature in the water, the signs of their wings do start to become visible.
So do they go through metamorphosis like real
Yep.
frogs? Or-
Yep, they do. They're very similar to a frog in terms of life cycle, only that they fly. And even then, with these guys, it's pretty poor flight. It's fairly akin to the Archaeopteryx, where it does have powered flight per se, but it's very weak powered flight. It's just enough to get from tree to tree without having too much hassle. So, there we go. Let me see if the book has anything else to say about this guy.
I am back.
Alright, so just to summarize it all up, this is a flying frog, which does have powered flight, but it's pretty poor powered flight. It's just enough to get from tree to tree, really. And let me see, is there anything else about this creature?
Why is it echoing every time I want to watch the stream?
I do not know. And yeah, I'm looking at this guy. He is a carnivore, but he mostly eats bugs, really. He doesn't really eat anything else.
Does
So-
he eat baby bugs?
Aren't baby bugs like microscopic or something? I don't freaking know.
Larva?
Moving on. The theropods of the waterways. Now,
Right, this joke's run its course. now.
yes, it is. Not parachute gliding. These guys are capable of flapping their wings and flying, but not for very long. They can't do it for very long. Sort of like how male peacocks, really, they can't do it for very long.
Why
really.
is there a picture of an Ostroraptor from the Estuary?
Now the thing is, Falcotops. I could not find a picture of this guy properly on Google, nor could I find anything close to him. So I decided to just picture this as a way of describing it. It looks like an Ostroraptor that has all its feathers taken off, and with a downward curved bird beak.
I thought you were going to chop its balls off.
No.
Well, think you're getting more babies?
Alright, please. Now,
That was cute. I don't know why I laughed at that.
listen, just to continue on to the fact that I'm poor, I could not buy a picture of this guy, okay? Now,
Alright.
the one at the top is a fairly large theropod dinosaur, which, I mean, not fairly large. Compared to the other ones in this picture, yeah, it's pretty big.
Good editing, though, Skinova. Good
Thank you.
editing.
It specializes in eating the carrion whelks from before, the snails.
Oh, someone found a model, apparently.
Yeah, really, really hot model. But
No, not that kind of model.
Okay, Ostro with a beak and a scissor being shoved up its ass.
With its balls being cut off, so its
Right.
baby just can't be eaten.
And then there's other modern day looking at birds on the island. There's egrets, herons, spoonbills, which all wade in the island's rivers. There's also the Dactylus,
It's
which,
been going on for 2 hours now.
yeah, I think it's a
Maybe we
pretty...
should just take a short break.
You want to take a short break?
yeah, sure.
Alright, so I'll just go through this one guy one time, and then I'll just stop it here. This guy's called a Dactylus, and the thing with him is that he's a small theropod dinosaur, but he does have very long toes used to go among lily pads similar to the bird in this picture, which I think is pretty cool. So there we go.
So how far along with the PowerPoint are we in?
Not even
There's
halfway.
there's 6 sections, and this is the 3rd one that we're on right now. So
So we're
So
about
we
half.
are just
About.
about. That's a good spot to stop for 20 minutes.
Okay.
All
Alright, guys, we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be right back, okay? Just to get whatever you want, take a bathroom break or whatever. I personally really need to go right now. I've been holding it in this whole time since we started, so... Okay.
Rip baby jokes. Someone just had to do it.
Listen, during the break, y'all can make as many baby jokes as you please, okay? I'm serious.
Should probably put a "We are on break" screen up.
I really don't have anything like that on me, so...
Quickly make one. Just type "We are on break" or something.
Alright. Complete professionalism. Complete professionalism. Let me see. You slide.
You were very prepared for this.
Yes, I was.
Baby death fest.
Okay. There we go.
Right now, maximize it.
I can't. I'm gonna turn my mic off for a second.
Okay.
I literally can't do anything without.
So we will return around 23 GMT.
Yeah.
with even more baby jokes.
No! Because the joke is dead now. Like all those babies.
Alright. Alright. Hold on for a minute, I gotta go.
Alright, I'm going to go. Be back soon.
Same here.
Alright, I'm back. And I can just chill here for a bit. Alright, so how's it going, guys? How you like the stream so far? Just gonna chill here while everybody else is doing their thing. It's gone a lot better than I expected so far, actually. I'm really loving this stream. I think it's my best one since Abzu, and that's saying something. I'm just reading through the book now, so I at least know some things. Oh, we're almost done with the river section. Alright, so we're gonna be halfway through it. We are halfway through it right about now. Wait, why? There we go. Much better. I just realized that the thing was only halfway.
Ow!
Okay, there we go. Perfect.
I am finally back.
Alright.
I want you to all vote right now in chat whether we should keep making baby jokes or not.
And...
Please vote now.
Oh, no. It can only go on for so long before it gets stale, you know? Let's keep it
I
fresh
know
while it
it's
is.
already stale, but it is very stale, so I'm hoping everyone votes no.
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
voting now. That's good.
Yeah, finally, I can finally stop making those crappy jokes.
We'll become a dead meme.
Oh my god, it should be a meme. Skull Eyes and his baby death. Don't go there if you're a baby.
I'm genuinely going to try to make that a thing, and I hope you guys are too.
Hashtag dead babies on Skull Island.
I'm just going to find a random picture from the Skull Island book and just post, like, the meme text on it. Make it trend. Dear Lord. Scan meme is infinite.
Scanova meme. Scanova is a Carnotaurus furry.
Wouldn't scaly be the term then?
Yeah, scaly. How did you know that?
I just do. I don't know why.
Scanova, might as well come out on stream.
I am not. Oh, dear Lord. Hashtag dead babies.
Times New Roman.
Hmm?
Times New Roman, that should be the font.
I don't friggin' know. I'm just gonna start it when everybody feels like it's ready to get back on. I know Gajiro's doing something.
We'll wait the full 20 minutes.
And if he's not here
Exactly.
by that point, then we'll just continue without him, essentially.
Once it's 7 minutes past, we
Time
can
is
get
it?
in.
What time is it now? Yeah, about 10 minutes has already passed, so... Skull Island maturity rates be late. Discuss the animals in the future is wild? Well... That'd just be copying what a documentary has already done. Really. With this, nobody has
Yeah.
really talked about it yet.
I prefer if we could make our own ecosystem.
Yeah. We could do that
And
next...
like,
we could do that
and
the
like
next time we
present-
get around.
yeah, but we should stream about making it. We should stream about when we've created it.
Oh, so we basically make everything off camera and then come back on, showing everybody what we did.
Yeah.
Alright. That could be a project.
I should tell you about my Novatosaurus. It was a custom species I made.
That's...
And it's larger than T-Rex,
Damn.
but it's not as aggressive. In
That-
fact, Novatosaurus are actually pretty friendly to each other. It's very interesting.
That's pretty cool.
I'll definitely going to have to tell you about this.
Real talk, though, I probably could set that up. Like,
I would love to do that. That'd be fun.
you know the Allosaurna realism server that I've been talking about for
Yeah.
a little bit? I could... A bunch of whole people like that are interested in stuff like that, so I could probably invite
Is-
you, them...
Is Care Bearing
Vixel.
banned on that server?
Yes, very.
Thank you. I will join that server any day. I hate Care Bear. They're like the worst.
I haven't been on the island in a while, but Allosaurna is like the only server I play on.
I
Like,
only quit Iceland because when I played it, like ankle breaking, but it was so high in there.
that they press it down a bit on the current map they're on.
I know.
The odds
You
of...
fall 2 meters. Oh no, you're losing your ankles and you have to walk like a little bitch.
Alright. I actually am probably going to make a Discord after this about such a project, and I'll invite everybody I know that's probably interested in it. We'll
What
probably
is
make a
it?
short announcement video on it as
Hang on,
well, in
what
case some of
is
the
it,
fans want to be
Stefan?
in. What?
Someone's hashtagged me.
Have you ever seen Isle of Winter, Isla Nublar? Oh, fucking no, don't even mention that to me. Listen, it's nothing like Sorna, because despite the name, they all got the different rules and such. But I do not like it at all.
Monster Hunter has not really got an ecosystem to it. It's just you kill dinosaurs.
Monster Hunter. That's the game that's been taking up my life for the past 3 weeks. Not even joking. It's probably the best game I've ever played in a really, really long time. I'm not even joking about that. I love it so much.
Do you remember the latest Dinosaur Hunter? Carnivores Dinosaur Hunter Reborn?
Yeah.
It was a good game graphics-wise, but the gameplay just lacked.
Yeah, no. In my opinion, the biggest thing that killed the game, the biggest, is the fact that there's no replayability at all. Once you buy everything, you can't reset your account and do it all over again. But the other carnivore games, you could do that, and that's why I came back to them again and again.
Yeah, but the issue is they just didn't feel like one of those games. I played one of the originals, and when I played the newer one, I haven't bought it, but I played it on a friend's computer, and it just didn't feel like a good game.
Yeah.
It just felt like an expensive version of hunting Call of
Hey.
Duty. It's none of that.
Good news for everybody here, if you guys are interested in carnivores. Carnivores Dinosaur Hunter, the app on the phone. There's currently a Steam greenlight of it coming to Steam. So if you guys want, you can go and vote for that. And
Oh my god.
we'll get our
Send
first Steam
link in
Carnivores
chat.
game. I can't. You know what? I can. Hold on.
Oh, for God's sake.
No, I can't.
Baby Novatosaurus.
I can't. Without going through a million things.
Hang on.
But guys, since I might as well give out a shout out, there's this other YouTuber named Sorian Target. He's about at 1,000 subs right now. I really do like his work. He's the only actual carnivores YouTuber I've ever seen. And
I sent you a message on Discord, Scanova. I don't think you can really read it without showing everyone else.
alright, no problem, I will. But actually, I don't even think you can. I don't know. Let me see. I'm going to have to go to a different tab for this. Hold on. And can you possibly paste your channel URL in the chat?
Me?
Yeah.
Why?
It's the process that I gotta do. I need to have your. And yeah, as I said before, Sorian Target. He's basically the carnivores YouTuber. I really like his work. It's really cool. Check him out. He's the one who made me aware of it, so I went and voted.
Huh. Wish I had 1,000 subs.
You honestly do need 1,000 subs. I'm sorry.
Here's dirty self-promotion coming up right now. Please come look at my channel. Sorry, remove any web addresses and try again. It doesn't let me post it.
God dang it. I'll make you whatever. I'll make you a mod after the stream. Everybody in here is very obedient. Thank you guys. I have no retards in here like I have in the past. Very appreciate it. Also, back on the Monster Hunter, the ecosystem in that game is not really.
Oh my
As a
god, you can't even do that. Never mind.
It's not.
Aww.
The ecosystem of Monster Hunter is not as destructive as it makes it out to be. Despite the fact you hunt the monsters on a regular basis, in the game itself and the lore, they're not as common as they seem. So, it's mostly just the smaller runt monsters they see around the map roaming around.
I appreciate every single view I get on my stuff. And I am still surprised you've beaten me to 1,000.
To be honest, I don't really know either. I mean, my Allosaurus series is pretty popular, but.
Yeah. You see, viewers, if you all didn't know, Scanova appeared on my channel before he even started making videos.
Yup, that's true. Around 2 years ago, I was in one of his videos. It was
He
just sort of
made we were making a Dino D-Day, me and another friend of mine, and Skinova just decided to join
yeah.
the game,
And
and,
it was-
he was basically just killing him as a Dilophosaur.
Yeah. I was backbreakingly good at that game.
We should play Dilophosaur on stream. Not Dilophosaur, Dino D-Day.
That'd be pretty
That
cool.
game is actually really fun. It's so underrated.
Don't forget about the destructive, death-breathing pickle.
What the hell is that?
It's in Monster Hunter. It's actually my favorite monster next to another one. It's called the Devil Joe, and it's basically a cross between a T-Rex and a pickle in appearance. Really, like its general body build is a T-Rex, but it's green and it's got a really fatty tail. And essentially, its role in the ecosystem, it just does not care at all about anything. Any god monster, it will murder and eat. It doesn't matter what it is, it'll be you.
Even babies.
Yes. Babies,
Okay.
adults, small monsters, big monsters, you. If you manage to cut off its tail in the game, it'll even eat its own tail. It does not care.
Cool. What I was gonna say, oh yeah, we could do a Dino D-Day stream and post what server we're on, so people can join us.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe we could do that after this, if it...
I have not got a place to put my mouse right now.
God dang it.
Actually, I can move out into my living room. It's just because I'm around my dad's house right now. It's like,
Alright.
I can't do much because he's in the way.
Okay. And also, as Liam D is saying, that's actually my other favorite, my two ties. There's another monster in the game called the Glavenus, which is basically...
To be honest, I only played the mobile one, and I just kept sniping raptors in the head. It was so fun. You know the lever action rifle? It can actually kill anything in the game.
Oh.
Anything?
Oh, you're back.
Oh.
Alright. And just in
Shall
time
we
as well.
begin
We're
again?
about to start again. Alright. Look, shall we continue? Chat, you approve? Alright, here we go. This is the final section of the river. The very odd-looking waders. There's two particular species which hunt fairly similar to herons and other species, but they're very, very weird. As you can see here. First off, let's start with the more simple one. The
Oh, Adrian is a subscriber. No.
Yampulacrosaurus Christarufus. It's a raptor, another dromaeosaur.
Oh, we're
And-
starting. I'm slow.
Alright.
This one looks fucking cool. I love this dinosaur.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It looks fairly Spinosaur in stature, but it's a raptor. Fairly similar to how Ostroraptor is. They hunt fairly similar to bears. They'll often gather up on waterfalls and hunt fish that are coming upstream. That's pretty
Huh.
cool. And then...
I'm gonna post something to you on Discord. Read it when the stream is done.
Alright. And then the even weirder one. Axisiophilus curio, or scissorhead. Now, I'm just gonna let the chat and the people with me guess for a minute. What animal do you think this evolved from?
Vulture. It looks like a vulture. It looks like a scaly vulture.
Alright, chat? People that have not read the book, so Char, back off. Let the people here guess.
Char. We don't
I'd
need
say
you.
heron. I'd
Heron?
say heron.
Alright. We got two birds up in here.
I have never read this book.
I'm not saying as I know. Thank you, Char. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're an awesome person.
Lepidosaurus like.
Ichthyornis, that's a prehistoric seagull, alright. Lepidosaur, I have no idea what that is. Archosaur. Pelican.
Pelican. A pelican is a viable option. I
Alright,
don't know what it is, personally.
I'm gonna guess. I mean, I'm not gonna guess. I already know what it is. I'm gonna tell you all what it is. It is a pterosaur.
Oh, I should have guessed that.
It is a pterosaur. A highly evolved, very, very weird looking pterosaur.
It's got no wings.
Yeah, it's got very small limbs, which are practically useless at this point. It wades in the water for fish. as
I
displayed
like
here in the picture.
pterosaurs.
But it does also have some, but also does a fairly interesting feature. You see the very broad, big-looking tail on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
That has an organ filled with air, which allows it to dive underwater, sort of like a cormorant after fish on occasion. And it'll use that to basically go back up to the surface whenever it needs to.
It's kind of
Yes,
like a
surprised viewers, it is a pterosaur.
It is a pterosaur. Very trippy pterosaur, but it's a pterosaur.
It's somehow a pterosaur. It looks like it mated with a pelican or something.
Yep, Adrian, that's why I sort of like drifted off when you said archosaur, because pterosaurs are archosaurs, so.
Archosaur.
Alright, here we go. The next section, the steaming jungle.
Oh no. If it's just more bugs, Canova, I'm going to kill you.
Foreshadowing. Now, this is the main part of the island everybody thinks Skull Island. Just deep jungles, very thick foliage.
Maybe go to try to not be eaten.
The biodiversity in this area is fairly similar to the tropical rainforest. There's trees hundreds of meters tall. Different organisms at very different levels of the canopy. Such like that. Let's start off with one of the top predators, and also one of the more unique inhabitants, the Venatosaurus, or the raptors. So, there we go. Venatosaurus. There are two.
Oh my god, is that a movie scene?
The one on the bottom right is a movie scene. The other ones are not.
Does he get eaten?
No.
No.
Is one of those from a game? It looks like it's
Yeah, this is from Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie, the one on the bottom left. And the one on the top is from the book itself.
Venatosaurus.
Let's start with the bigger species first, Venatosaurus savidicus. It is a very massive raptor. They at most get up to 25 feet long, or 8 meters in length. They're huge. And here they have some very specialized adaptations for the jungle, which I find pretty interesting. They have very, very loose joints and hip joints, so they are capable of crouching down on their bellies and still move perfectly fine, in a very weird way. They can also, while they're
I
not
won't
as...
question it.
Yes? What?
I just said I won't question it.
Alright. And they also have very loose hip joints, so while they're not as fast, they can do extremely sharp turns without breaking their legs, really. And
Only we have that for the
Must
Isle.
be easier to take down though, just bite its kneecaps off.
then
That cute little compy's doing. Oh no, do they?
they are also
Trinkles.
they are also extremely intelligent, for as raptors tend to be, really. The packs of these animals that live closer to the lowlands or plains, they have learned to use specialized canyons, or they specialize to use canyons that run through the jungle as hunting traps.
Oh my god, I've just got a really good theory.
Particularly with brontosaurs. You know, the giant sauropods, they actually hunt them using this strategy. They'll go out into the floodplains and chase the herd through this canyon, some directly behind them, while some up above, making sure everything goes all smoothly. And then they corner them in the thick jungle where they can't maneuver as well and take one of them out, which I think is pretty cool. It's like human level tactics.
Can I share a theory quickly?
Yes?
It's just a stupid little one, but I want to say it anyway.
Yeah.
You know how you said the Iceland finally disappeared at World War II?
Yeah?
What if, it's just a suggestion,
Yeah.
Dino D-Day lynched off of the last dinosaur's DNA?
Maybe.
That's a theory that's in my head. Like, what if this game has a secret backstory to it?
Well,
That's how they created dinosaurs.
they did create dinosaurs before World War II, which is essentially when the island disappeared, so...
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, like, you know, they lynched DNA off the last dying dinosaurs on the last meter of land left.
Now, there was a scene in the movie, I don't know if you remember this, where there was a stampede of brontosaurs through a canyon. That was extremely overdramatic, and many people found it stupid. And that's actually a fairly regular occurrence for the plains hunting venatosaur packs. So, And then they also have special words. They got...
Come on, Scanova, do you need a doctor?
Let me just recollect myself. They have very specialized complex social behavior. They were gulls, looking for the friggin' words.
They have very complex social behaviours.
Yeah.
There, I did it for you.
They often rely on chirps and calls as well as body language.
Excuse me while I open a packet of crisps.
Alright.
Okay, there we
During
go.
the mating season, females will raise their tails in a very distinctive manner in order to get males to
Ooh, they're getting
know that
sexy,
they're
aren't
interested.
To make babies.
They're gonna be eaten.
Alright. And they also do have... So similar to cats, really, they also got distinctive tail movements when they're feeling threatened or agitated. They will move their tails back and forth in a fairly regular fashion when threatened. That was just Venatosaurus savidicus, the top one, the bigger version. Now we move on to the smaller one, Venatosaurus impavidicus. It is smaller.
They're like the velociraptors of the island.
Somewhat,
No,
yes.
not the Jurassic Park ones, those are oversized.
Now with these ones, they're smaller, a lot darker in coloration. It's got a distinctive blue tail, which marks it apart from the other one. These guys are mostly
Yeah,
nocturnal.
the Eoraptors, sorry, I was just about to answer to a message. It said the Eoraptors do look cool in that series.
Yeah, and akin to the female Raptors in Dinosaur Revolution, they do have a blue tail like this one, and they behave fairly similar to the larger species. Only they prefer to hunt smaller prey, prefer to be nocturnal to avoid competition with other predators, larger predators that are among the jungle, and they can also somewhat be arboreal. They can somewhat climb trees in order to get the jump on prey, which I think is pretty cool. The blue tail at the end of their tail is for display. I thought it would have been cool if it was used as a lure of sorts, but as some snakes do, but it's used for display.
Can't expect
It's
that,
pretty cool.
really.
Alright, moving on. Vestatosaurus ontogeny. This is where we talk about the Rexes growing up, essentially. So I'm gonna wait for the stream to switch. There we go.
It is. Oh my god,
The-
these things look like they're from Primeval instantly.
Yeah, they do. That's one
How-
thing I didn't
okay,
notice when
okay.
looking it up. They got very similar coloration.
I'm starting to get a sneaking suspicion that some of the dinosaurs' colour patterns were stolen.
I don't know. Possibly.
How many
Now-
of those babies died?
Quite a bit,
Really?
actually. But I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that in a bit. Now, the one on the left
Dead
is...
being, man.
Now, basically how Vestatosaurs are born is that the mother goes into the deep jungle to select an area. She makes a nest, lays her eggs, marks up the entire place, which will keep most predators away, and then leaving them to hatch and survive on their own. Now, as you can see, the one on the left, this is a hatchling Vestatosaur. As you can see, pretty long arms, which is something
Oh my
that they
God, those
used
are so
early in
long.
life. What?
I said those are so long.
Yeah, and they also got...
Take that if you dirty mind by.
They do got a different color palette than the adults, similar to how main baby animals do in real life. These guys have a difference in light and dark stripes, which help blend them in with the jungle, while the adults, they got plain coloration with no pattern and are gray or black. When they all hatch together, and they stick together in a pack of sorts, which is displayed on the right. A pack of juvenile V-Rexes versus a pack of Venatosaurs are displayed here. Subadult V-Rexes, they're essentially one of the top predators of the jungle, akin to the Venatosaurs. They are prime competitors, and it's not too uncommon. It's not too uncommon for them to get into conflicts with each other. The subadult Vestatosaurs are exactly how you'd imagine teenage T-Rexes would behave. They're extremely aggressive, obnoxious, and
Annoying.
ballsy, quite frankly.
And got eaten a lot.
It is not uncommon for for this fictional scenario to happen in the book, where venatosaurs, when they go on pack hunts, they leave one sentry to stay at the nest with the youngsters. And half the time, adults will go around and often play with and bully with the sentry to just like mess with them. And then the sentry would message the rest of the pack to come over and basically be an all-out brawl.
Huh.
Only the smartest and less ballsy V-Rexes are the ones that survive, really. The ones that
didn't run into danger.
Yeah, they're the ones that survive. Alright, moving on. Phoetodon farius. This is the thing that got eaten by... What?
Not moved over yet.
Phoetodon farius. This is the thing that got eaten by the V-Rex in the movie. Bring that back.
Alright, let's move on.
Alright, so this is a land-bound crocodilian. It's a crocodile, just a very land-bound form. The babies, they live...
Got eaten.
Where's Gojira, by the way? He hasn't talked in a while. Oh yeah, you just haven't talked for a while, I'm sorry. And essentially the babies, they're born near the river and they live semi-aquatic lives. Some of them are crocodiles. But when they become adults, they move completely onto land. They still have a paddle-like tail back from their juvenile stages, and the adults hunt on the forest floor. They're pure forest predators. They obviously can't climb trees, and their main strategy is just bury themselves in...
What is it eating?
It was never shown in the movie, really, what that was. But we could take a guess. Oh, it was a hadrosaur? Some unfortunate soul wandered to the jungle and got eaten then.
Looks like me when I haven't eaten anything in a while.
Now, if you do notice about its face, it does look like it has a bunch of bumps and stuff on its face, right?
Yeah.
That stuff is not that stuff is not natural. It moving along the forest floor, rubbing its nose against everything it comes across, causes it to be very prone to diseases and other infections, which plague the forest floor.
So how did it survive? Did it have an immunity system that could defend off of it?
Reptiles are really tough. They can just tough through those things, really. They can live with them.
They can recover from injuries that could kill a mammal.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. I was about to suggest something messed up, then I'm glad I didn't.
Alright. I think I said everything about this guy, though I'm not too sure. Moving on. Familiar and unfamiliar faces. There is one animal on this island.
It's not moved over yet.
I know. I'm just stating it right now. I won't get into any details until it's switched for your guys' end.
Okay.
We got one modern day animal on the island that is practically unchanged.
Oh yeah.
And we got the gaur, or the Indian wild cattle.
The populator, so it populates it with children to be eaten.
We'll go with that. And the thing with the gaur, they're a favorite prey for the smaller raptor species on the island. They're practically identical to the species in Southeast Asia, only they live on Skull Island. It's speculated that the ancient civilization from long ago, before they got wiped out, brought them over with them. And now they live their own wild lives out here. Well, as I said before, they're a favorite prey for the smaller raptor species on the island. And then we got the Avarusaurus populator. And it just says it's a dinosaur. I don't know, it never specifies exactly what species, what group it comes from, and God knows what species it came from. It looks very weird. And it can move on both 2 and 4 legs fairly well. And it will eat anything remotely edible. Small animals, leaves, plants, twigs, it don't care. It has very few predators due to its fairly ferocious nature when threatened.
Not even V-Rex?
I mean, adult V-Rexes don't really venture into the jungle that often. And
except the females.
Yeah, and even then they only go into their nest and leave. They don't really hunt that much. I could imagine a pack of subadults trying to take one on, but even then...
Take what on again?
The Avarusaurus here.
I don't see how... you said the V-Rex was the most fearsome predator. How could it not take it?
The thing is, V-Rexes don't normally live in the region except for the younger ones. So probably anything besides that was not a predator for it. It was not... The thing with it did not defend itself through violence, really. It just acted really violent. It normally just scared things away by how ferocious it looked, really. So, there we go. Reptilian predators. We got some mammal-like reptiles out in the jungle here, which we'll show in here. God dang it, why is the stream buffering on my end? Hold on for a moment.
There we go. Wow, you took those pictures with your camera.
No, I did not, but somebody else did take it with their camera. I found these off Google, so... I'm just waiting for the stream to come back on my end before I start talking about these two. Okay, here we go. Scamidodon stagax. It is basically the jungle's version of a leopard. It primarily lives up in the tree canopy, climbing up through trees and hunting whenever it can. Its favorite prey is birds, which is displayed in the picture. Now on the right, we got Carucarptor interfector, or carver. These guys are one of the most common predators that are in the jungle. Probably only second next to the Venatosaurs. And
no, Stefan, we are not making more baby jokes.
And these ones, they live in mating pairs of a male and female, and they hunt throughout the jungle together. They share a territory. And
I like the
that's
one
about
on
it,
the
really.
left. It looks badass.
Yeah,
It's like an Allosaurus crocodile.
the Scamidodon, I'm just going to repeat this again because I'm not sure if you heard. It was basically like the Skull Island's version of a leopard. It loves to tree climb, it loves to hunt in the trees, and its favorite prey is birds, which are shown here.
Oh.
So many goddamn predators. Well, we haven't really gotten to any of the... Usually the herbivores that are on the island, if there's...
Baby predators, you mean?
Many relatives of Gorgonopsids, they are mammal-like reptiles, so I wouldn't take it against them. The thing with this ecosystem, normally with ecosystems, if there isn't a lot of predatory herbivore species, there's a few herbivore species, but there's a lot of them. So, this is probably what's happening here. Smaller herbivores. Speaking of herbivores, we got a couple right here. Now, these are the favorite prey for most of the predators that live on the island, really, besides the gaur. I'm gonna let it switch for you. There we go. We got Pugiodorsus.
Welcome to the stream. I was just... someone else joined.
Alright. So we got...
I was doing your job for you.
Alright. We got Pugiodorsus squamius. They're small ornithopod dinosaurs, like similar to Dryosaurus and Hypsilophodon. They got armored bodies, which is strikingly similar to things like the Desmatosuchus. Really?
That's a nice looking crocodile.
That's the Phoelodon. It managed to get an ambush on one of them. And they live in small groups, and they travel throughout the forest together eating plants. And then there is the Habiosaurus torvus. This why am I saying predator? Why am I saying predator?
Because everything else has been damn predators this entire time.
True.
Everything else is a baby killer.
Alright, that meme is dead.
Alright,
We've officially killed it in 1 hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through look through the book and see if this is a dinosaur or a crocodile-like reptile of some form.
It's a crocodile, you can tell by how it looks.
It actually does not say, so it could be both. For all we know.
He has his rented book on hand, people.
Stop it. So, this guy mostly lives alone in plants that he does. He oddly enough really has... His only defense is that he's a real pain to kill. He doesn't really have much armor on him, with the exception of the thing that runs along his back.
Not very fast.
He's not very fast. He doesn't have much armor aside from the set along his spine. But he does have a... However, he does have some loose bones around his neck, which make it to where it takes them normally a long time to try to kill him via the normal throat grab method. So sometimes predators won't even bother because it takes way too long to kill it.
Scanova.
Yes?
Were baby herbivores harder to kill?
Probably.
There, I made one last baby joke.
Okay.
Can I... Alright, this meme is dead. I'm not even doing it anymore.
Ground birds. So I'm gonna wait for the thing to switch, but the forests do have their own fair share of ground-dwelling bird species. Which I'll
Like
get
terror
here.
birds?
No, not terror birds, but
Here we go. We can see it now.
some of them look strikingly... The second two look strikingly similar to moas, actually.
Oh god damn it. My chair is squeaking.
So, each of these has some sort of special adaptation for survival. There's the highly Ornus maximus, which is quite fast and maneuverable. It's able to escape danger via speed pretty quickly. There's a Nocturnal pinguis,
Come on, I'm waiting for another racist joke.
which is nocturnal. It comes out only at night, and during the day it camouflages itself sleeping among the leaves. Another adaptation of this guy, which I think is really cool, its eggs have a special coating on them to where once they're laid, they have a habit of getting moss growing on them without damaging the babies inside.
So how did they stop moss getting on them? So they could actually breed a healthy baby.
I don't. They didn't talk about the specifics. It's just moss do grow on the eggs and offers as camouflage. And then there's the Panato Amarus. As you can see, the mother defending her chicks against a subadult V-Rex. While it doesn't really have actual actual physical defensive capabilities, it is capable of producing a very pungent, awful projectile and shooting it at whatever threatens it. And that basically discourages any predators. It's fairly similar to baby seabirds.
Hashtag lift back up Skull Island. It's a real shame they killed off this ecosystem. It could have been
Yeah.
a cool thing.
I think they wanted an explanation to why we can't find it now, but
Yeah, I kind of just it's better to have an imagination as a living, breathing
yeah.
environment.
As Char says, the Panato basically pukes at enemies and scares them away. Moving on, sauropods. Yes, the one on the right is a sauropod.
It does not look like... Wait, I can't even see it yet.
Yeah, I know, but you'll see what I mean.
Oh yeah, I see it.
I don't see it yet. Oh, that is not a sauropod.
It is a sauropod, a highly specialized type, but it is a sauropod.
It's
start-
not a sauropod. It's an ankylosaurus.
The rhinoceros.
Convergent evolution at its finest. Convergent evolution at its finest. Let's start with the one on the left first. Aspergidorsis baletter. It is the... Hold on, I'm actually going to look up the size, but I think it's actually only slightly smaller than the V-Rex. Let me see. I'm pretty sure...
The V-Rex could still take it down then.
Yeah. It's a massive animal, but still not massive compared to the V-Rex. Let me see, I should really just be following along.
Just say it's really big. And
It's massive. I think it's 50 feet long, or...
Good enough.
Oh,
Let's
40,
move on.
40 feet long or 12 meters. There we go. And these guys, while they lack size in comparison to other sauropods, they have armor and spikes, which aid in defending themselves against predators. Another reason for the smaller size is obviously in the dense jungle, a giant 100-foot long sauropod can't exactly fit in there quite well. And finally, another thing about its social habits. While it is solitary, but they do regularly keep on check with each other. Similar to elephants, they do have some form of ultrasound that they transmit through their feet, so they can basically keep tabs on each other through very, very long distances, which I think is pretty cool. Let's move on to the other one. This guy's pretty simple. Diablosaurus rufus. It's a highly specialized sauropod that is basically wanted to be a ceratopsian. It is solitary, highly aggressive. The males have larger horns than the females. There we go. Anything else before we move on? Because this one was pretty quick.
Nope.
I got something to say.
Yes?
It's a redhead, bedhead. Let's move on.
Okay. Special snowflakes. Now these guys are pretty cool. They're pretty in terms of the Allosaurus ecosystem, they're very unique. I'll wait for it to transmit on your side.
Define special. Oh,
Here we go.
Let's talk about the Silvoceratops or treetops.
Alright, so one of them is Stegosaurus, just with a few adaptations, so we can not talk about that one. Alright.
Oh no, we actually do have to talk about it. It looks like a very generic stegosaur, but does have some special things.
We
Excuse
started this stream 3 whole hours ago.
We got started 3 hours ago. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes in on my end, because I got a timer of the stream on my account. Alright, so, Silvoceratops or treetops. Unlike other ceratopsids, this guy has gave up all brawn and went for speed. It is very thin and nimble. It prefers to run away from attackers rather than fight them, really. Which I think is pretty cool. You don't see ceratopsids do that. It's actually a whole family on Allosaurus, and there's 2 main families of ceratopsids. There's the generic ones, the very heavily built ones that defend themselves, and then there's these ones, which are fairly lightly built. They can run pretty quick. They flee to escape predators rather than fight back. And let's move on to the second one. Mashrutalpus. This is another crocodile-like reptile. Going back to the beach dwellers. This is another similar species. Unlike the other ones, this is not a pure carnivore. It is a highly diverse diet. Will eat practically anything. In particular,
So
loves.
it's an omnivore.
Yeah, it's an omnivore. Though it favors mushrooms and tubers and other such things like that. It does go.
Omnivore means eat anything.
Yeah, and similar to the other two I said
don't
before.
you dare. Don't you dare, Veloso.
What?
You're thinking.
What? What?
That was a
What do you
blank
think?
warning, Gojira. He wasn't gonna do it this time. You think it's too
What's
little?
going on? Oh, I know what you're going on about.
Ah, you said Allosaur, not goddammit. Alright, my mistake then. They're similar to the other two. It can storage fat preserves in its tail. And the book did go into a little bit about its breeding
He
habits.
said Isosaurna, apparently.
Yeah, my mistake then. It's easier to say than Skull Island, I'm sorry, but...
He's the sauna.
Then again,
Was-
Allosaurna is all that I pretty much talk about ecosystem-wise besides this, so that's probably why as well.
All not hyped for Jurassic World 2.
I don't know. Maybe they learned their lesson from last time or not. I don't know. But
I'm
let's
really-
move on.
To be honest, I think the series, it's time to just call it a close. It's just gone on enough now.
I'll admit that. That's true.
I mean, the second and third movie... The second movie was actually pretty good, but the third movie was just absolute trash. It was just a joke.
To be fair, the only serious thing I liked about the third movie was how they did the raptors.
Yeah, I only like the third movie because they finally let something else than T-Rex win a fight.
That's actually one of the main reasons I hate the movie. Not because Spinosaurus won. I'm okay with T-Rex dying. But it's just a fact that it spawned God knows how many fanboys on the internet that can't accept science.
Oh, no. When that movie came out and then the internet, that you didn't want to go on anything.
Yeah,
right?
no, absolutely not. If you don't know, for people who don't know me already, I am the absolute YouTube comment smartass, okay? I will, if it's about dinosaurs and I know you're wrong, I'm completely going to point out you're wrong and say the right thing so people don't get misinformation. The amount...
It's not don't get information, just don't do it in front of you. Otherwise, you might just be sitting there reading a 5-hour long comment about how Scanova is right.
It's very rare I'm wrong, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not
Oh well,
I'm not
that's
prestigious,
close.
but
That's just what's the word?
overconfident.
Self-promotion.
I know it is, but frankly, I've only had my mind shown to me a couple of times out of the 50,000 idiots I've met in my day. But moving on, off from that, very off topic. We got the
Oh, who gives a crap? This is fun.
we got the Monstrutopus once again. I already went on about him before, but the main thing that the book
Well, it
did
hasn't
go
changed
about.
over yet.
Something that the book did go about was its breeding habits. Females, when in season, will emit a sort of pheromone which goes out for miles, right? And males will jump miles around and will do sort of a friendly competition of sorts, displaying to her individually and seeing which one she prefers. And it's not uncommon for her to have more than one mate. She lays her eggs in the dirt, covers them up, and then leaves them, essentially. But enough of this. We got the...
I think I spelled Kishkafor wrong.
Well, to be fair, I think it would really take anything small to fit in his mouth, so it going after humans is not that bad.
It's not that unplausible, but it's just Spinosaurus's diet was revolved around fish eating, not mammal eating. So it is more. So if it hasn't got any other options, then it would go after things small enough to fit its mouth, all the way up to the last priority being things that it has to fight to eat.
God only knows how that will go. Next up, Atercurisaurus, the only stegosaur on the island. Now, with this one, the island, the book talks about how they're essentially sort of the island's kind of endangered species. They only eat very selective plants that are essentially living fossils themselves, all the way back from dinosaur times, the ones that survived all the way up here now. And those are getting outcompeted by the more modern plants that have taken over Skull Island. So if Skull Island did completely die out, these guys would have. And it did go once again about their mating habits. The females live in herds while the males live alone. And basically how...
Someone joined.
Oh, sorry, my computer crapped out and I gotta reboot it.
Oh, my mistake.
Okay.
And how the mating for these guys works is, in my opinion, pretty cool. The male will have to display to the herd itself, and the whole herd will determine whether or not he'll be allowed in and mate. Basically, it's sort of a group approval kind of thing.
Yay.
All right, moving on. Critters of the Canopy.
Okay, so Liam didn't get much stegosaur action.
Alright, here we
Special
go.
Netflix, that's a terrible title.
Critters of the Canopy. First off, we got the Perfossor novus.
Ow, my ears.
First off, we got the Perfossor novus, or burglar monkey. Despite the name, it is not a monkey, but rather a loris, which is a group of canopy-dwelling... I don't know whether or not they're primates, but I'm guessing they are, that hunt insects in the dark. And that's basically what they are. They're a special type of loris that lives on the island. I don't know how they got the name burglar monkey, but let's just roll with it. Next up, we got herbivorous chameleons. These chameleons on the island, they do not eat insects. They have grown quite a bit larger, and have consisted...
So it doesn't eat eggs, but it eats it. Okay, I'm gonna look.
So they eat... There's 4 species. Most of them eat fruit, sucking it up into their mouths with their long tongue. There's one species in particular which feeds on nectar or pollen. Wait, not pollen, honey, sap, which is pretty cool. And before Loris Master, yeah. And then on the right we got 2 flying lizard species. Allodosaurus cynobarus is one of them. This is just the one to represent the about 7 species that the book displays at this point in the book. And it's essentially to show how many different flying lizards there are, and their diversification
Give me
and such.
5 seconds. I need to go tell someone to turn down the TV.
Alright. Alright, and while he's gone, I'm just gonna go on about this one. Before we get on to the next one, because his reaction to the next one is gonna be friggin' hilarious. We got the Pinatudamus pernix, or feather devil. It is a lizard which has convergently evolved feathers. These are actual feathers with a very similar makeup to the ones found in birds. This flying lizard, while not capable of powered flight, it can still somewhat flap its wings to extend its gliding duration, which I think is pretty cool. And no, these flying lizards are insect eaters. They do not eat babies, for Christ's sake.
He's not letting this joke go, is he?
No. Alright.
It's a dead meme. Stop it. We already wore it out.
Here we go. I'm... Oh my god, this is gonna be awesome. Hold on.
Nope. Okay, let's move on right now. We don't need to go over this. The most pointless subject on this whole PowerPoint.
Okay.
No, we are not talking about this. Move on.
Yes, we are. We're gonna do it very quick though.
I will hack your toaster.
Stop it.
I
Stop
will.
it. No. We're going through this, okay? You can leave until we come back. I'm perfectly fine with that. But we're going through this, goddammit.
Everyone vote now. Do you want to listen to Scavengers?
No, not enough. Listen up, okay? I'm okay with some fan input, okay? But I'm not gonna do everything they say. Like it or not, people, but we're gonna talk about this, okay?
Everyone vote if Scavengers should do it or not.
While all of you are doing that, Stickalithus arachne, the largest spider on the planet. At 4-meter long leg span, it is huge. It is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And the way that it hunts, it's way too big in order to make its own web. So what it does is it puts its back feet on a pair of branches and just sort of lies there and waits for something to come by. Its very long and slender legs are akin to the vines that are often throughout the island, so most animals do not see it coming. And then there is the Amortextar Wicked Weaver. This is just a regular spider that they brought up with a fairly ornamental shell on it, really. There are some spiders on Madagascar that look pretty similar to how this one does. And it's also pretty big, judging by the looks of this picture, if it can eat a lizard. So, moving on. Nope,
Well,
times 2.
Generally, no, oh god. Well,
If you thought this was
spiders
bad,
they had to spit acid over their prey and watch it melt down so they could then break off. Okay, this is fine. Let's move on.
We can go through this pretty quick as well.
Right. This time.
No, stop. I'm sorry. Fuck, no, I'm leaving. Like it or not, Skull Island has bugs, and we have to talk about them, okay?
We don't want to talk about the bugs. We can read the books to talk.
We're going anyway, okay? Whether you people like it or not. Really quick. The island has its own fair share of millipedes across the island, which are pretty big. The biggest one.
Great. We all want to know.
The biggest one, 6 feet, 2 meters long. They're carnivores. They'll eat practically anything big enough. There's one in particular I'd like to bring up, guys, the one on the farthest right. It is a specialized egg cracker. Its jaws are pretty similar. Its fangs they're pretty similar to a bear trap, and they basically use them to crack open eggshells. So there we go. Aerial predators. I think this is the final section of the jungle.
Nope.
And then we're gonna get into something even worse.
Hang on, I can think. Nope. Hang on, I've got to play this. Hang on. Should just stop. This is
Okay.
what I say to. This is what I say to. Oh god, it's playing. I gotta play this. See if we can hear it.
Nope. If it's happening.
Did you hear it?
Nope.
Hang on, let me just try to get it to play.
Yep, I heard that. I heard
Did
that
you hear
time. Yep, I heard that time.
Oh wait, we're finally onto something.
They are not the wrong way. They are not
Except
the wrong
for-
way.
I like the one on the forum.
Well, even then, who cares? Okay, I don't freaking know. Let's just move on. Let's just look at the names then, and you can mismatch whatever you please. I do not. No, both of them are white. Okay, this one looks a bit green because of the lighting, but this is white. So these are
So wait, those names are the wrong way around.
These two are another example of the bat rats, as mentioned before. Bones which have specialized in flight. The howler is the more common. Both these come out at night. There's the
God damn it.
there's the howler,
Got that.
which is the smaller of the two, 2-foot wingspan, I believe. They mostly hunt insects and lizards in the canopy at nighttime. And then there's also the skull island white bat, which is much larger, and it could often be seen bullying howlers or potentially killing them when given the chance. They're fairly large aerial predators. And then there's the Skull Island hawk, which is the top predator during the day. Basically, it'll hunt any animal during the canopy and so on.
The Skull Island hawk is a beautiful bird. It's the only thing I think that does not eat babies on the horizon.
This is just the closest representation I could find of it. The one in the book does look quite a bit uglier, but this is the closest I could find to the
You had to ruin it.
Yes, I did. Now, this is the closest one I could find, because it does have blue plumage. So, here we go. The section, thankfully, for you people right now, is the shortest section, but we're still gonna go through it. The Abyssal chasms. You'll see what I mean when I switch it.
Oh, great. 1 pound. Oh, for fuck's sake.
This is essentially hell on the island, pretty much. This.
As a Skull Island wasn't hell enough.
Yep. This is. Yep. This is. Ever heard the phrase "fuck that shit to fuck"? Wait a minute. What? I screwed it up. Fuck that shit to fuck that Ville. This.
Hang on. Hang on.
Fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. I'm not. By me, I'ma just grab myself. Shit, I'm out.
Alright, let's get this over.
Alright. So, essentially, due to the island's fairly tectonic activity, there has been chasms spread all over the island, and many organisms have managed to make themselves home here.
Oh god, I did not mean to play that, I am so sorry.
Alright. So, how the ecosystem works down here, it's almost entirely different from that from up above. It is actually strikingly similar to the deep ocean. Nutrients and food drips down from below and essentially forms like a muck layer down at the bottom that the animals mostly feed on. Though when given the option, due to the fairly rarity of food down at the bottom of these things, they'll pretty much take on anything that is unfortunate enough to drop down to the bottom.
Like that human girl about to walk into it.
Yep.
Poor girl. This is the only time I've not wanted a movie star to die.
This isn't even in a movie. This is like part of a simulation ride at Universal. This shit gets eaten, so. Carnictus and Arachnocetes. Let's start with probably the most disgusting out of the two.
Oh
Do I
boy.
have to play the song again?
Probably.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. Let's see what it is.
Fuck this shit. I'm out. Fuck this shit. I'm out. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab myself and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No. Fuck this shit, I'm out. All
Yeah, he's dead now.
Alright. Let's start with the Carnictus Sorticus. Its closest relatives are tapeworms, as you can imagine by...
Fuck no.
very
I hate
disgusting look.
tapeworms, I hate them.
It's speculated that how these guys evolved is that they used to be the tapeworms of some large animal from up above, but one poor unfortunate soul dropped down to the cavern and died, and these guys somehow survived outside their host and made their way to be probably the most signature animal in the chasms. Now these guys...
I'm going to drink my whiskey, hang on.
Alright. These...
Stuck my...
Like almost everything in here, they are scavengers. They'll eat practically anything that gets down at the bottom, really. And they absolutely depend on the muck that's down at the bottom of the chasm in order to survive. If they do not have it, they will die.
just happened, but I don't really care.
Fantastic. And I'll get to the Araxidus when he gets back. It's actually in heart, probably more disgusting than this thing.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks, don't mind me.
I can wait.
What?
I can wait.
What's going on? What's going on?
Nah, he said he could wait until you came back.
I'm here.
Right?
Oh. It's because I said I was... Where's Canova?
Canova!
Hello?
Oh, his Discord disconnected.
Oh, his chat is messed up. I see. Well, guys, looks like this is our stream now, so let's make a ton of baby jokes.
What do you call Subidal Vastatosaurus?
Food.
No. Killer.
Ha 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 ha. What do you call a baby Vatosaurus?
I don't know.
Food. What do you call Skull Island?
Baby Eater Island?
No, baby eating first. What do you call the slide that he's paused on?
I don't know.
Hang on, wait for it.
And I'm out, no.
Predator on the island.
A baby eater.
Trumposaurus Rex.
That one really tickled me, I don't know why. We're just gonna make cringy jokes till Scanova manages to fix his stuff. What do you call a guy on Skull Island?
Food.